Celebrational, Keelerational, this is what we call the Keeler Show.
Celebrating 100 years.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
Well, good morning, and I don't know, I was trying to think a little bit here. Sorry. Good morning, Tim Reed.
You were trying to think?
I was
Underline.
trying to think. It's not that easy. That is not easy, let me tell you. Trying to think about what I would wear tomorrow, because it's going to be 27. I'm thinking Bermuda shorts, something like that. It's going to be sweltering warm.
That's the usual temperature in the studio.
It is, yeah. Although this last week, since it's been so cold, Jeff, have I been asking for you to turn the air conditioning on?
Nope.
No, it's been freezing in here. So I think it's naturally 50 degrees in here.
You had on a puffy jacket.
I did. It was
saw that. I knew.
Even a little bit chilly. So, lots to get to today. Of course, we'll talk more about Jimmy Fallon coming to the Rome Capitol. There's still great seats to grab a hold of. Go to RomeCapital.com. Ryan Schmelz and Tanya Powers from Fox News in a few minutes. Mike Fellows, an Oneida County Republican member. He's actually in the process of trying to help others run for office. We'll explain what happens there. Melissa Schwartz is the attorney for Caitlin Conley. She's also the attorney for Gordon Woody Mowers. So he's seeking a new trial to vacate his his guilty plea from the killing of his parents back in 1996. County Executive Tony Pacini is on. Lance and Lee this morning will be carrying his water as he comes in. Very excited about that. John Decker from Gray TV. We left yesterday morning, everybody yelling and screaming and all of that, with Ryan Nobles from NBC on the issue of elections and election fraud, and the president is still talking about this and nationalizing the elections, which I do not believe will ever happen. It'll be stopped by Republicans, although Mike Johnson cannot bring himself to say anything that even comes close to saying, well, the president is wrong here. He cannot do that, and didn't do it yesterday. So the whole thing is, should there be an ID, a voter ID? And the argument is, well, if I can buy, if I have to have an ID to buy a beer, I should have to have an ID to cast a vote. And one of the instigators in this whole thing, and I think when Ryan left, the last word out of his mouth was that Joe Lowe, the loudmouth. I don't know if that's what he said exactly, but Joe is on the phone right now. Can't help himself. He's right back for more. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning. Good morning.
So, did you sit on this a little bit and reconsider? I wrote a piece that's on our website right now about the history of voter ID, the reason why we don't have you don't have to show your driver's license in order to vote. The story's up on our website. Read through it. Actually, give some analogies at WIBX950.com. Joe.
So no, I didn't read that article. I'd be interested in seeing what their reasoning for not having ID and what time frame that was presented, because things have changed over time, you know.
Yeah, they have, and for the better, believe it or not. But go ahead.
Right, but I am a firm believer that look at the things that you need ID for now. Not only just an ID, but you need enhanced IDs. You need these special IDs to get into the county courthouse. You need IDs to get on planes and trains, and you need IDs for the simplest things of buying cigarettes or beer or proof of age. But we have the most important election in this country is the presidency. most important, but to not be able to show ID, I think, what happens if the Republicans decide they want to fix it? Don't the Democrats feel safer if there is some kind of form of ID to protect their voter rights as well?
Well, remember something here. While you hear all of the talk of voter ID, and it's great rhetoric, it's great political talk is really what it is, you realize that there have been several points where Republicans have had complete control, where they could have made an amendment to the Constitution where they had a majority and they didn't do it because deep down, most Republicans are constitutionalists and understand the reason why we don't have a voter ID in the United States. But, Joe, I would ask you a couple of questions if you don't mind.
Sure.
All right. Do you believe that that they stole the election from Donald Trump in 2020?
I don't believe that the election was necessarily stolen. I think there was issues with the election, and I think there was an attempt of fraud in some instances. That's just, again,
well,
my
I'm sure,
opinion.
yeah. Like there's this guy named Johnny Rocket in Cleveland who tried to vote, even though he voted for his mother who died, even though she died 3 days before the election. I mean, these things do happen, and there are.
I mean, who's
and
to
I think,
say, Bill?
and,
Who's to say, like, let's say my neighbor Bob Smith. I know he's a Democrat. He doesn't maybe vote my way. He's hospitalized or he's bedridden, and I know his address because he's my next door neighbor. And when I go to the voting booth, I see his signature because his signature is right there on the page. And who's to say I can't just whip out his signature real quick, close enough that the people that are standing there monitoring say, "Oh yeah, there you go. There's Bob Smith."
Well, let's use that. Let's use that example. Let's use that for a moment. So Joe Lode walks into his neighbor's voting place, which is also his voting place.
Correct.
And you walk in, and let's say earlier in the day, you were there and you voted, and now it's 3 hours later, and you try to vote for Mr. Smith. There's a system in place where somebody's most likely someone is going to notice you, especially in the world today that we have, where you don't have 5,000 people walking in, and I get it. Maybe you have big numbers in the larger cities, but certainly not where you're at. Somebody's going to recognize you. That's number one. They're gonna look at the signature. There's also a chance someone there might know Bob Smith. The chances of getting caught are pretty good.
In Remsen, yes, but I disagree in a major city where they have lines outside of the polling locations.
Okay, all right. Again,
in Remsen, yes,
and well, let's think of the concept. Okay, so now there's one vote. Let's say it actually happened. There's one vote. Davey, I'm going to pass on Ryan just for this because we're right in the middle of this, okay? There's one vote. We're talking about in order to sway an election, you'd need millions of these. And that's I'm maybe not in a local election, I get it, but at some point you also have poll watchers from both parties that are sitting there watching. They're watching people come in. I'm not saying that there isn't ever, that was what you said yesterday, Jeff, that there isn't ever someone who may cheat. I think it happens a lot when somebody casts an absentee ballot and then they die. Maybe they cast the ballot in October and then they die before Election Day. Those get caught. But there's a system in place. And remember, in order to vote, there is voter ID. You have to use identification, and every time you change your location, you move, you have to re-register. So the system is already in place to catch these. But even if people are slipping through, it would never be enough to sway the election. And the other statement that you made, Joe, that is absolutely incorrect is that there was mass voter fraud in the 2020 election, because there wasn't. It was so investigated. This was probably the most investigated election I ever remember in our lifetime. I don't remember so many court cases all over, from Georgia to Arizona, and Pennsylvania and Minnesota. There were places where there were investigations, ballot after ballot after ballot. Now, could something happen? Remember Bush Gore? I'm not sure, as you could go to the most amazing, most brilliant scholar when it comes to political science and elections that would say, yeah, Bush definitely won in Florida. Because if you remember what happened, they just didn't have the staff to be able to finish the counting of that whole Chad thing. And the Supreme Court ruled, we've done enough. We've counted what we can count, and the counting stopped. So someone could say maybe Gore really did win that, or maybe, but as a country, we accepted the fact, and Gore came in and said, I concede. Now, that stuff's not happening with Donald Trump. He's out from the tallest building shouting that it's all corrupt, but only when he loses, though.
Okay, let's say this, though. We do know that there was a collusion, corruption against Donald Trump with the whole Russia thing. There was a Russia collusion.
Okay. First of all, no, that's not true either. Don't even go there. I don't even want to go there because that is not what came out of that final report. I'm not even going to go there. Don't even go there. Let's not open up that can of worms.
Well, I'm just saying.
No, don't even say. Because don't even open that can of worms. Because it's not the case. Go back and take the time to read the report, and you will find that the report doesn't say there's nothing there. The report says we couldn't interview. There were so many people we couldn't interview. It is inconclusive, is what the report said.
Can we just agree on no matter what he does, the Democrats will find flaw in it? Let's just say that.
And who cares? That's you find flaw if you're a Republican, you find flaw in everything Nancy Pelosi says or anything Bill Clinton said or Barack Obama. That's politics.
Mark says,
it's no different. It is really no different. I mean, find me a Republican conservative who loved life under Barack Obama when he was president.
Right, but I don't think anybody in the history of this country has been more scrutinized.
But what does that have to do? We're veering off the road here. What does it have? What does it have to do with voter ID? I don't understand.
Well, I'm just saying we can't get anything done because we keep harping on Trump.
Okay, we can't get anything done. Well, let's look around of the last year. Look at everything Donald Trump has gotten done. Now, there may be people in this country that don't agree with it.
There's people that still think that no matter what he's done, he's the enemy.
Who cares? That's politics, man. Who cares? That's politics. Of course, there are going to be people that don't agree with him. What does that have to do with voter ID? Here's the example that I came up with.
I don't understand why it's a bad thing to have ID at voting.
Let me say this. Here's the example that I came up with, and then I do want to hear from Tim Reed and bring him in, and Jeff. I know that Jeff ended verbal yesterday and wanted to clarify his point. But here's the example that I came up with. So. You have to show an ID to buy a beer. Well, that is because number one, there's no constitutional right that you can buy a beer. Number one. Number two, those laws are to protect kids from buying alcohol. That is, I think the example I read was that's apples and atom bombs. There's just you can't compare the two. And the analogy that I give in the story, and I wish you would go and read it because it's worth reading. The analogy is that why are we fixing a problem that does not exist? There is no credible evidence of mass fraud in the United States that would change the outcome of any election. There is no evidence of that. And we have checks and balances in place, especially the local level. You have both sides sitting there arguing over, should this vote count? Should that vote count? Is this absentee ballot real? Is that signature real? You have that goes on it's the opportunity for it to go on in every single race. But the analogy used was, imagine you're in a situation where you live in a community. Where do you live, Joe? You're in Deerfield?
I'm in Remsen.
Remsen. Oh, okay, even better. So in Remsen, there has never been a situation where, or maybe there was once a long time ago, there was a situation where a person phoned in a false alarm for a fire. Mm-hmm. And it happened 35 years ago, but it hasn't happened since. And all of a sudden, everybody's like, well, listen, I got to tell you, I think we have to worry about the fact that someone could phone in a false alarm on a fire. So they go and they pass an ID where a law where you have to, in order to report a fire now, to prevent any false alarms, you have to go to the fire station, show an ID, and then you can report the fire. I realize this would never happen, but it's a fair analogy. Just listen to it. That what you would accomplish, this is passing a voter ID or passing a reporting ID, and in order to prevent something that doesn't happen. So the result of it would be people would be less safe because people with older people without cars, they wouldn't even consider going to the fire station, showing their ID and calling in the fire. What they would do is not call in the fire. So while you would stop any chance of reporting fraud, you would make life unsafe. And the other part of this is it is a constitutional right to vote. And the only thing that putting a voter ID will do is it is an absolute truth. You will end up with fewer citizens voting. It is already illegal for an immigrant, a non-American citizen, to vote. That's already against the law and punishable by law if somebody breaks that. But the only thing a voter ID will do is for people who are afraid of the government. People, and believe me, that's increased today, especially with all of the stuff happening with ICE around the country. Citizens who are afraid of it. Elderly people. My grandparents, this is not that long ago, they did not have a bank account. My grandmother never had an ID, and my grandfather had a driver's license, but they did not want anyone to see it. They didn't want anybody to know what books they were getting. They didn't want anybody to know anything. For what reason? I don't know. They just didn't trust the government. But the end result is you really won't make the elections any safer because we already don't have a corruption problem. But what you will do is there'll be fewer people, fewer Americans that will vote. Big cities especially. They don't have driver's licenses. Almost always in the cities, they use public transportation.
I'm not saying driver's license, but they do have IDs, right?
But unless would you? You're assuming they're on public assistance? That's a racist. That's a racist comment, Joe.
It really isn't, Phil.
It absolutely is. You're assuming people in New York City only people on welfare don't use public transportation. You need to get out, Joe. You're way too stuck in Remsen and Mohawk. For God's sakes. I want to bring in Tim Reed.
How do you have a job without an ID, Bill? All right? How do you...
Very, very easy. I'm just telling you. Here's the other thing. You're a woman. You just married Joe Lode. I know it sounds like a reach. You just married Joe Lode. Her name used to be Mary Smith, and now her name is Mary Lode. But she hasn't changed her driver's license yet. She hasn't been able to get off work to be able to change her driver's license. Guess what? She goes to vote. She can't vote because her ID doesn't match. All you will do is, for a problem that doesn't exist, Joe, all you will do is filter out people from being able to vote. Let me bring in Tim, who's saying, he's waving his arms. He's waving his arms at me, saying, no, I don't want to come in.
Well, so this whole thing about voter ID for voting, as I recall, as a history major at Hamilton.
Are we going there?
So
it's the damn Republicans, right?
No.
Well, it wasn't Republicans.
It wasn't. Actually, it was the Democrats.
The Democrats.
Those bad Democrats down south who came up with poll taxes.
All these obstacles.
It's all post Civil War. So when they talk about Jim Crow, that's classic. That's where Jim Crow came from in regards to trying to control the
black men were given the right to vote.
They were offered the right to vote.
But what they had is all of a sudden they had this huge surge of black men voting.
Right.
And all of a sudden the Southern Democrats said,
right,
these aren't fair elections. There's corruption. There's fraud. There's voter fraud. We have to put in limits so they added voter ID.
Right.
They added
literacy tests. All kinds of stuff.
Sorts of, yes.
So that's really kind of where it's come from. And clearly the amount of ID that we have to, you have to have ID today, even if you go to a hotel.
Yes.
Which
I refuse to give mine.
You do?
Yes, my wife. No, I
But-
really don't.
I think one of the things is
But going to a hotel is not a constitutional right.
right.
And that's where, and the other thing is there's
Right.
not a history of what you just described.
Right.
So when you talk to a black person about
Right.
voter ID, it is a sore subject because there's a history of it.
Right. The big problem I have with, and I don't know if it's a local thing or it's a national thing or whatever thing, is I don't know. And let's look at absentee ballots, which really were birthed to a large extent because of COVID, right? I mean, that's when it
At
really
least the
blew out.
Right, the explosion of.
I don't understand why you send an ID to someone who does not request an ID.
Well, I think that was a big mistake that was made during COVID. That was a
And I don't
very
know, do
bad
they
decision. No.
They don't
No.
do that anymore? Because
No,
I
I
think
mean,
that's a big mistake.
Unless you get a one in the mail, please let us know, and I would do the same. But I don't believe that's done
Because
anymore.
I think that does make things ripe, especially in
Well,
cities when you're talking. I
the
mean,
other
then
part of this-
that vote now has value, right?
Yes. Yeah.
But the other thing is, I would say is, last time I checked in 2020, there were a lot of Republicans who got elected, and I guess I would say, I don't know how happy they would be in regards to if you're making these comments about mass fraud and things like that. That potentially you're saying that I guess that maybe their vote was in
Right.
jeopardy.
Yeah.
That
Maybe
it
we want to
wasn't.
scratch everything and start over.
Right.
I mean, Joe, why is it that the only people that yell that the vote is corrupt is people who lose? If they win, it's not corrupt. Actually, if they win, it's a real. Now there's an example of a good election. Manaski, I'm sorry, you're
No.
okay. I mean, your point yesterday was you were not saying there is mass corruption.
And I don't think Trump won 2020, and I'll say that again and be
Yes.
clear. And I want to say I never said anything bad about the United County Board of Elections.
No,
I never accused the
no,
Herkimer
no.
County Board of Elections
Listen to me.
of being
Listen
corrupt.
to me. Listen to me. What I never said that. I didn't say that about you. Stop for a second and take a breath.
Did you listen to the segment this morning?
Jeff, listen to me for a second. I said it was rhetorical. Then what you're saying is
Right.
That's what I said. I'm not literally saying you just said. Come on. I mean it's a conversation we're having. The point I was trying to make is that your local boards of election are so important in this process. And if you go to somebody in Herkimer County and say, "Well, there's mass corruption," they're going to say, "Well, yeah, but not here." If you go to Oneida County, there's mass corruption. Yeah, but only in Utica. You kind of wonder sometimes, right? Yeah, but not here. Our elections are very fair and safe, and that was my only point. I'm not saying to you that you're charging Oneida County with fraudulent, and I also did not ever mean that there are no votes ever that are cast that slip through. Because I think I told you yesterday, I know of one that slipped through. At least maybe we don't know if it slipped through. I do know she voted twice, and actually she was a student. She was a student at Syracuse. She was registered to vote in Syracuse. Earlier in the day on election day, she was in Syracuse and she voted as if she still lived in her dorm, and then came to Providence and said, "I voted again." I'm like, you do know, you do know
You should have made a citizen's arrest.
You could be arrested for that. Oh. Really?
All right.
Yeah, you just voted twice. Anyway.
So I'll begin. I'll just do some listener comments. And again, I said what I said. I stand by what I said. And if we have,
Yeah, but what you said
Yeah.
was not what people necessarily perceived. You did not say that there's mass corruption and
No.
Trump really won.
No, I didn't say that at
it
all.
just got in the middle of heated discussion that got taken out of.
I never said there
out of
was a
context.
cabal of illegal immigrants, as Ryan suggested I was saying.
He's not suggesting you're saying that. He's saying then if
He
you
said,
say
Jeff, what you are saying is
then
there is a cabal
no,
of illegal
he didn't
immigrants.
say that. He didn't
Can
say
we get
that.
a transcript of that
Listen to me.
show?
Listen.
Can we get a transcript?
Listen, words are important.
Yes,
he
they
said,
are.
He said, then that means there must be a cabal. That's what he said, which is very different than saying you just said there is. I'm sorry. I did go back and listen to it. I edited the freaking thing. I listened to it several times yesterday. So I know what I said. I know what he said. And no one was telling you said these things. They're simply saying, if you believe this, then you must believe this. That's simply a comment made in a debate.
Okay, so we need ID to get, this was already brought up. This is from Joe. We need ID to get social services and benefits. You need ID for Social Security. It's not partisan. It's common sense. It makes a secure election.
Never, since the Civil War and all of what happened in the South, we have not had voter ID. It was a decision that was made.
New York hasn't, but many southern states do.
What's that?
Many southern states do.
Well, I don't know what goes on in southern. I can't tell you what they do in southern states. I mean, they certainly did back,
I do
150 years ago.
have a list here that I can go through. Mississippi, Georgia, I don't know if Florida's on there, but there are several states that do require when you show up at the polls, you have an identification. And that's neither here nor there. I'm just putting it out there.
No surprise there. If that exists, no surprise.
We have a constitutional right to have arms, but we still have to have an ID when we buy a gun. That's from Joe as well.
That's a very different story. That's
not Joe Load, a different Joe.
There's another good example, but there are limits on that have been approved by the Supreme Court, where limits can be placed on the purchase of a gun, and even ammunition is constitutionally legal, which I find hard to believe personally, but it is. And again, it is, you have a constitutional right to own a gun, but not everyone. And there are limits to that. But this is the constitutional right for democracy, to be able to vote your elected officials into office. It's completely different. It's apples and oranges. And by the way, voting is not dangerous. A gun, the reason there are limits on our constitutional right to own a gun, the reason there are limits is because there are consequences. The gun has a bullet. The bullet could pierce your brain. It could kill you. In the hands of a child, it could kill someone. So there are limits.
I agree with that, but then I think that weakens the argument of it's a constitutional right, because there are other constitutional rights that you do need ID for.
An absolute constitutional right if you're 18 years. Remember, let's understand the progression of voting too. Black people couldn't vote at one point. Women, when did women? It was in the 1900s.
Yeah, it was 1912, 18,
Davey.
16.
Don't worry, we're going to be fine. Okay, let me go to Joe. Can you hold? Because Kathy and Rome would like to pipe in here. Kathy is going to tell me in Michigan,
1920,
women became eligible through a constitutional amendment. Became eligible to vote. Hi, Kathy. Good morning.
Good morning. Well, my Spartans, they had 2 losses in a row, so they've been kidnapped by aliens, so I don't know who they are right now.
Terrible. We ought to vote them out.
They're 19 and 4.
We're disrupting this conversation for Michigan State basketball?
She's got more. She has more.
Okay.
Yes. Well,
and I have to say,
on voter ID,
when I did the school election and went over to senior citizen to vote, I carry my ID with me. I was proud to show my ID who I was. In matter of fact, I had a person who says, "Are you related to so-and-so?" I said, "Yes, I am." So I found a newfound relative when I showed my ID. So it worked
That's awesome.
out. So I'll continue to use my ID. I think it makes it easier for the poll
With
people.
pride, you will continue to do that.
It doesn't actually make it
And
easier for
I
the poll
think-
people, though, because they don't ask for it.
Yeah.
So
But I had it with me, so I showed it, and the lady was very nice. She thanked me, and I think when women get married, they either keep their own name or they hyphenate their name.
All right. Well, maybe we'll save that for another day.
we'll do that on Monday. We'll get into a big argument Monday about it. Can we get Ryan Nobles back Monday?
No, what's Noble's thing?
I want to pout for the last 6
All right,
minutes of the
Kathy.
show on Monday.
Kathy, thank you. And she's gone.
And which name comes first
Can I
in the
mention
hyphen?
2 things I think are really,
Well,
really important.
I have a friend who's she wanted to be first, and he was last, and then it
Like
worked out
life.
where he was. No, she wanted to be last because last is more.
Get the last word in.
seems more like the last name, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Even with a hyphen.
Okay, so this is a funny thing to me. You brought up what's going on with ICE and it deterring people from going to the polls. If you're legal, you have nothing to worry about with ICE, right?
If you are if you are someone who doesn't speak English or you speak with an accent today, you're nervous about going out. You are. Many of those people probably have an ID. I'm just simply saying there are people who do not trust government. Now, you may not feel that way, but there are I know people. I have a relative who covered every single book she read because she didn't want anyone to see what she was reading. And Tim, I think this was even more. Think about the McCarthyism and what went on during those times. I mean, there's a population in the United States that doesn't want anyone to know any of their information. Yeah. And I get it. In order to vote, you have to register and you have to do all of that. But I'm just saying, adding another element is simply just another obstacle in the way of people voting. That's the point. And
okay,
take it for what it is.
Just sent this to me. I remember this story. I don't necessarily think it makes this argument better. After Georgia enacted voter laws requiring ID, voter turnout increased, not decreased.
I have nothing to know whether that's true or not.
Well, I have a story here from. There's a news story.
I have no idea.
So, okay, one other thing, and this is something a few people sent me, and I went and researched some state cases. Let me see if I can pull this one up. To the point about it's never cost an election, this was a state assembly race. The candidate was Hector Ramirez.
I didn't say that necessarily, and I didn't say there's never been fraud.
We have to have a transcript of this show.
But I'm telling you now, damn it. I don't believe.
Well, when you're laying out your arguments, you say this, and I go to counter the point, and you say, I didn't say that.
I will go through the transcript with you, and I will deliver it to you, and then we'll sit and read it together.
Okay.
But nonetheless, I'm saying to you right now, I'm not saying there's never been fraud, but on a large scale. But the other part of that is, again, I do think there are people who may try to cheat the system. There are checks and balances that we already have in place to find these. And if there is a news story, somebody caught it.
So I give you credit, Bill, because you know what? Despite the fact that we kind of disagree on this, we certainly do disagree on points of it. The point you just made is correct, that in many cases it has been caught. In this particular case, it would have cost an election had it not been caught. 2014 candidate Hector Ramirez for the New York State Assembly talked voters, at least 35 of them, into giving him his completed absentee ballots. Now, what he did with them, if he changed the names...
Can I say something? I think that still goes on today. I think it goes on at nursing homes, and I think that... But your voter ID is not going to change any.
Yes, I wanted to make that point as well. Okay. Donna talked about how easy it can happen in a nursing home. She lays out an example here.
Voter ID
wouldn't change that.
And let me tell you something.
Convenience to allow the person in the nursing home to vote.
We spoke with Mello yesterday, who was laying out some situations where in Utica,
close
let
races.
me tell you, I've seen some stuff and working in races in Utica that I shake my head, and I do think there's pressure on someone to vote a certain way. We're never going to get rid of that. Right. And at the end of the day, there's a person who allows themselves to be taken advantage of. Now, maybe that person is demented. I don't know. But they at some point, they allow the party boss to pressure them into the corruption.
I'm surprised this wasn't a bigger story and that I don't remember it. It happened in 2014. Again, a New York State Assembly race, 86th District. Ramirez initially was declared the winner. Because of the removal of these 35 votes, he lost by 2 votes in a state assembly race. Ultimately, I think he was given, I'm scanning here, 3-year ban from running and maybe 6 months in jail he got.
Well, you remember obviously Bush Gore was very, very close in Florida. And all the votes weren't counted. And I'm not here to say I like George Bush. Right. I'm not an Al Gore fan.
I'm at all. Gore decided it for me to say
the
good
one
thing about
Gore did
Gore
that was good.
He said, for the betterment of this country, I've got to step down.
I am conceding. Yeah. And that to me is loving your country more than your party, loving your country more than any one candidate. To me, it is the most important attribute that one can have. Yep. But you know what? The votes weren't counted in Florida.
No.
There were thousands of votes that were not counted. Joe, you want to have the final? Is it okay to let Joe have the final word? Come on, Joe.
He's got to plug something.
I
got a voter ID ad program that we do up here at the Stittsville General Store. Sorry.
It is my opinion still that I think we should have ID, and that's all there is. I'm not a racist, but that's all I got to say, I guess.
All right. Listen, I don't think you're a racist either. Sometimes you have some bigoted things that come out of your mouth, but it doesn't make you a racist.
Archie Bunker.
Doesn't make you a racist. Thank you, Joe.
All right.
And thanks for coming back for more of this mayhem.
Yes. Well, I'm always around for mayhem.
You are. All right, Joe. Have a great day. I got a break. We have news coming up at WIBX.
WIBX Utica Road, W295
From the WB Payne Insurance Studios, your news talk leader since 1925. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now the latest from Fox News.
A vigil and a plea in the search for Nancy Guthrie. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That was a church service in Tucson, Arizona, as the search continues for the mother of today's show host, Savannah Guthrie.
We want to thank all of you for the prayers for our beloved mom.
Savannah and her brother and sister put that video on social media days after their mom, who's 84, was kidnapped from her home, and they urged whoever took her to contact them.
We need to know, without a doubt, that she is alive and that you have her.
Fox's Alicia Cunha is in Tucson.
Late yesterday afternoon, law enforcement, including the Pima County Sheriff's, Customs and Border Patrol, and the FBI, arrived at Nancy Guthrie's house, cordoned it off with police tape, and searched the property. They were seen working in the back of the home and also in the garage. Earlier in the week, Sheriff's Chris Nanos said the crime scene had been cleared and handed over to the family.
President Trump posted on Truth Social he spoke to Savannah Guthrie, and he's ordered all federal law enforcement to help. Next hour, we'll hear from the president at the National Prayer Breakfast the morning after going on TV. And as Fox's Chris Foster reports, discussing the immigration crackdown in Minneapolis leading to angry anti-ICE protests.
The president tells NBC News it was his decision to pull hundreds of law enforcement agents from Minneapolis.
We are waiting for them to release prisoners, give us the murderers that they're holding, and all of the bad people, drug dealers, all of the bad people.
Federal agents are promised more access to jails to take custody of potential deportees. The president says the two protesters shot and killed by federal agents last month were no angels, but it's very sad to him what happened.
You know who feels worse about it than anybody? The people of ICE.
A federal judge in Oregon has ruled against immigration agents, ordering them to stop arresting people without warrants unless they're considered likely escape risks. In the case filed by a man detained without a warrant despite having a valid work permit. America's listening to Fox News.
Living with everyday pain is like having a voice that always says, no, you can't do that. No, you better sit this one out. It's no way to live. So if pain is affecting you, see how Relief Factor can help get you back to life on your terms. One where you say yes a lot more. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor's unique formula of natural ingredients does not just mask pain, it helps reduce or eliminate it for good. Whether it's your back, neck, joints, or muscles, Relief Factor can help you, as it has for so many others. So call 1-800-4RELIEF and give Relief Factor's 3-week quick start a try. It's only $19.95, less than $1 a day to get your life back. Just go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. And see how you can say yes to more of everything you want.
Back to the ICE controversy in Minnesota. A lawyer made news in court.
U.S. Attorney Julie Lee did not hold back during a Tuesday hearing in St. Paul for several immigration cases. She announced to the court, "This job sucks." Lee also expressed a need for sleep. She was on a temporary assignment, but that's ended since her comments in court. Lee was given at least 88 cases in less than a month amid the Trump administration's immigration enforcement surge in the Twin Cities and pushback from protesters angry over the crackdown. Tom Graham, Fox News.
A win at the Supreme Court for Democrats.
Without any noted dissents, justices denied an emergency appeal from California Republicans challenging the state's redrawn congressional map. The new map is likely to favor Democrats in the upcoming midterm elections. State leaders started the redistricting process in response to mid-decade redistricting by Texas lawmakers intended to add seats favored by Republicans. California voters approved a ballot referendum replacing an independent redistricting commission. Several other states are also redrawing congressional maps or considering proposals to do so. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
On Wall Street, stock futures are rising modestly for the Dow and the NASDAQ. It's trade deadline day in the NBA, so players may be changing teams. There have already been big deals, including this one.
The Mavericks' decision to move on from Luka Doncic last season isn't looking any better. Anthony Davis, who Dallas acquired in the Doncic trade, will now play for the Wizards, as the Mavericks are reportedly trading the 10-time All-Star to Washington as part of an 8-player deal. Injuries played a huge role in Davis's lack of production in Dallas. He wound up playing just 31 games in a Mavs uniform. Joe Morgan, Fox News.
It's day 2 of the Winter Olympics in Italy. Even though the opening ceremony is tomorrow, there are more curling matches and the women's hockey tournament starts. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
We have cloudy skies, 11 degrees, an extreme cold watch is in place. It will continue until 4 o'clock Saturday morning. Good morning. I'm Jeff Manaski, WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM News Time 7:05. This news update is brought to you by the new destination Kia of Utica on Commercial Drive in Yorkville. The United County Sheriff's Office issuing a warning to the local community and beyond. The Sheriff's Office reports that there are scammers using names like Sergeant Thomas or Lieutenant Moore, and they say they're with local police agencies, including the Oneida County Sheriff's Office, and they're asking for money, saying that a loved one has a legal issue or needs to be released from jail. These callers often say the person in custody can be released with an ankle monitor for less than the usual bail amount, but oftentimes no bail has actually been set. Officials also explain that scammers sometimes use caller ID spoofing methods, making it look like the call is coming from law enforcement or a trusted agency. Your caller ID might say Oneida County on the box. Even if the caller ID says that, they say the calls are not real. Victims are also being pressured to send money quickly through apps like Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal, or by going to a physical location to drop off cash. The Sheriff's Office stresses they will never call to demand payment for fines, bail, or legal matters, and they never ask for payment through electronic transfers. The Rescue Mission of Utica announcing the postponement of its annual Walk a Mile in My Shoes fundraising event because of the extreme cold coming up this weekend. With wind chills expected to approach 15 below zero, the decision has been made out of an abundance of caution to ensure the safety of participants, volunteers, staff, and local community members. The event has now been rescheduled for Saturday, February 14th. Registration and walk times remain unchanged. That's registration at 10 a.m. Saturday, February 14th, and the walk will begin at 11 a.m.
This is the second time this has happened to them. It was a couple of years ago it happened. But isn't it the point of the whole?
I was going to say, it's a great promotion. It proves their point almost.
Yeah, it kind of does. That, it's so cold for these people out there. They're not going to survive. And where was it in the Syracuse area where the person, probably dementia, came out, the old person came out and died in the parking lot of freezing cold? It was like early in the morning. This is a story on Syracuse.com that I read yesterday about it. I just wonder, isn't there an alarm when the door opens that at 3 o'clock in the morning when somebody goes out? Shouldn't they have some safeguards to prevent that from happening?
You would think so.
Yeah.
Governor Kathy Hochul announcing her running mate for her 2026 race for re-election. No surprise, it's not Antonio Delgado.
I'm very surprised.
It's former New York City Council Speaker Adrienne Adams, no relation to former Mayor Eric Adams. Adams, a veteran of Queens, veteran Queens politician, wrapped up her speaker's gig a few months ago. That's according to the New York Post, which is also reporting that Hochul offered the lieutenant governor running mate role to Adams after being turned down by other New York City Democrats, including Bronx Senator Jamal Bailey and Queens Borough President Donovan Richards. And a New Hartford man facing charges after he was found injured in a parking lot in the village of New Hartford. Police say they responded to the burned area on Campion Road for a report of a man who had fallen and hurt himself. Officers later identified him as 45-year-old Gerard Goings of New Hartford. Police say he had driven his vehicle to the parking lot, allegedly, after field sobriety tests and further investigation. Officers charged him with felony DWI with a previous conviction within the last decade, felony aggravated unlicensed operation, and consumption of alcohol or cannabis while operating a motor vehicle, along with other charges. He was processed at the New Hartford Police Department and was waiting arraignment at the Oneida County Jail. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM news time is 7:09. Here is your Weather Center forecast.
Short term, slightly milder. Longer term, tomorrow night into the weekend, extremely cold. Extreme cold watch late Friday night through Sunday afternoon. Wind chills 20 below zero. Air temperatures below zero. Daytime highs, single digits. Today 20, tomorrow 27. Actually may feel pretty good. Some scattered flurries, snow showers, especially today. Now, tomorrow night, we'll see the Arctic front come in. Snow showers into Saturday. Maybe a couple of inches in some spots. By Saturday, highs will only be in the single digits. Saturday night, the cold night, down into the teens below zero. North Country, well below zero. From the Weather Channel, meteorologist Ray Shijik, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Right now, cloudy skies and 11 degrees at 7:10. All right, from the IBEW 43 local sports desk, a significant trade in the NBA. Anthony Davis is out of Dallas. ESPN says the 10-time All-Star is headed to the Washington Wizards as part of a deal that includes 8 total players and 5 future draft picks. The Mavs are sending Davis, Jaden Hardy, D'Angelo Russell, and Dante Exum to Washington in exchange for Chris Middleton, A.J. Johnson, Malachi Branham, and Marvin Bagley III, along with 2 first-round picks and 3 second-round selections. Also, Chris Paul officially out of Los Angeles. Of course, the Clippers had kind of cut ties with him earlier in the season. Now he's part of a 3-team trade that involves the Brooklyn Nets. The Raptors acquire the 12-time All-Star Chris Paul, but will not require him to report to the team. He still could be involved in a future trade. And there are some draft picks that are being exchanged there as well. The Cavaliers send Lonzo Ball to the Utah Jazz. He is expected, though, to be released and to become a free agent after that. In the NFL, the Giants making an addition to the front office. According to ESPN, NFL executive Dawn Aponte has been hired as the team's senior vice president of football operations and strategy. Aponte has been with the league since 2017 as the chief administrator of football operations. I have a thought here on this. This really catches me off guard. The Giants hired an executive for the NFL, and she is now in place of operations and strategy. And she had been with the league for almost a decade as the chief administrator of football operations. Something tells me this has to do with, on Friday, Steve Tisch was linked to Epstein.
And I think there's a lot of that.
Oh, boy, some of the names that popped.
Yeah.
This week.
I think this is a
and
CYA.
You realize a 1,000, something to think about. 1,000 or more FBI agents have sifted through all of these documents and seen, all those reactions that we don't know what's there. They've seen it. So you have 1,000 people. Every one of those people is going to keep their mouth shut? Nope. I do not think so.
Well, and I feel like
this is not over.
Let's not forget, I think this is often lost in the ongoing controversy of the release of files and who's in the files. He was first arrested 20 years ago. In 2006.
Several administrations.
Several
law enforcement agencies.
Yep.
Several, countries. There's now, the question is there a tie to Russia? It seems like there's a plenty of tie there. He made several trips to Russia, constantly was trying to meet with Putin. This is a far bigger story than what we're. And why would the president say, I think it's time for America to move on?
It's a disgraceful cover-up by both administrations.
And now, why do you think the Clintons came forward? Because it puts pressure on Trump. That's going to be I don't know how Hillary Clinton, that whole stand by your man thing, I don't know how she's able to do that. She's going to have to go in here. There's no evidence of Hillary Clinton at the island. There, or maybe there is. I don't
Not to
know.
my knowledge.
Certainly, there's no evidence of her doing what Bill Clinton did. She still stands by this guy, and she's going to have to testify. And they're going to show pictures. They're going to show all of this stuff while they were married. I don't know how she can. She just doesn't dump him. I don't get it.
Frank Reich has been hired as the new offensive coordinator of the Jets. Frank, good luck. I don't read good things coming out of there, but
yeah,
wish you the best.
A couple of comments.
Can I just
Jeff?
one more on Frank Reich? People forget this, and I was going to try
He
to
was a
work this
great
into a
backup.
trivia question. The biggest playoff comeback of all time,
Oh,
unless
yeah.
the Patriots broke it, but it was that Oilers-Bills game in Buffalo. I think
Yep.
you guys were down 35-3.
Yeah.
And
Kelly-
everyone thinks it was Jim
Yeah.
Kelly. It was Frank Reich who
I
led that
remember.
comeback.
I remember
Yeah.
that game. I was downstairs in my basement
Yeah.
painting, and I was watching a little TV. I go, "Oh my God, what am I seeing?"
It's one of those things where whenever a backup comes in, we always say, "Okay, this game's over.
Yep.
Be careful."
Yep.
This because you now have a whole new inspiration behind center, who is trying to show I am something to look at, and I think it's a,
I'm sorry. You had
I
comments.
almost think that had it not snowed, Denver would have won last week. At the very least, they would have tied it up. I'm still pissed off over that. Sorry. This is Lance. Jeff, you seem like a nice guy. Do yourself a favor. Find a nice government job somewhere. You're young enough to Apparently, Jeff, you and I cannot disagree, and automatically what it means is I don't know what.
How do you know, Lance? How do you know I don't get a pension here?
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
How do you know I even get a paycheck here? I wonder sometimes.
Jeff, we all wonder. Not about you, about ourselves.
Jeff, has anyone ever told you not to make your boss look like an idiot in public? The dynamic here, I don't know that Bill is officially my boss unless that's changed. Maybe it has, but I do feel free when I disagree that we can have an exchange and I don't have to keep my mouth shut, and I do appreciate that.
Yeah. And I don't think that you could stop either one of us, to be honest. Right?
Yeah.
Although there was a point where we got into this really good argument, and people thought in the building that
Oh, my
you were
God.
going to punch me. And listen, I've been in that position many times in my life, but I will tell you, Jeff and I are. We don't need to explain this.
Correct.
But there is never a fear that he and I cannot have the most heated discussion, which, by the way, is very rare. Would you agree
I would
with
agree
that?
with that.
Never in the world did I ever think that he was going to punch me.
I left here pretty pissed off yesterday. I was annoyed. The argument you just referenced, it was well beyond this.
Oh, yeah.
And we stood here afterward because I said some things to you too, and we were fine when we left the building. We were fine the next day, and unfortunately, the guy who was in charge of this building at the time ran around and told everybody, basically, I think we need to make a change down there because it almost got physical when it was never even close. It was never even close. That guy, what was that idiot's name, Smitty?
No, don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it, please.
Walk around with leather boots.
Don't say it.
A blazer and a wrestling T-shirt on.
Don't say
and
it.
He's no longer employed here.
Easy
thank
and Alien.
God.
I don't have his whole comment. Can you pull that up?
It's not so much that people actually show up to vote. It's absentee ballots. I think he means mail-in. He says mail-and ballots. I think he means mail-in ballots that are dropped off. It keeps in a backpack by the thousands. Now, when did that happen?
No evidence of that being. He's referencing what happened in Atlanta, and again, that was a complete false story. That's not true.
He says
the other thing is, I just keep saying we don't have, Davey. I'll get there. I promise. We don't have. Yes, we'll break. We do not have a situation where there's any evidence of mass fraud. Every bit of that has been debunked. And I'm going to tell you something else. Can we all agree that both sides, I work in a lot of campaigns, and for the last 15 years I've been working on political campaigns. And one of the biggest things, which I don't know how to even do, and I always recommend to every candidate, get somebody who knows the ground game. And the ground game is what? It's getting your vote out. It's knocking on doors. It's helping people get to the polls. It's helping make sure everybody gets their absentee ballots. It's making sure they actually fill out the absentee ballot. That absentee ballot is a huge part of every election. If it's a close race, it almost always comes down to the absentee ballot. And you know what happens, Jeff, we both know what happens here. Both sides come in, the attorneys come in, they all sit around and they go through every single absentee ballot. And if there's a question, something looks abnormal, it gets thrown out. I just feel like we have checks and balances in place. And why pass a law to fix a problem that doesn't exist? That's the biggest point of all to be made. Well, I think a problem exists. It's been proven that it doesn't. I don't believe it. Well, now we're screwed. Because after intense investigations that are bipartisan investigations, most of these investigations were controlled by Republicans who came out and said, you're looking for fraud. It's not there. We found one or two things here, and that's all we found. And why are we fixing a problem that doesn't exist if the only thing the fix is going to do is prevent some people, fewer people will vote?
Continuing with Easy here, I mean, he's referencing cigarettes, lottery tickets. We've talked about that this morning.
Read the story on the IBX website.
So
it goes into examples of that.
You should have the register through the registrar's office. You should have the registered to vote. You should have to show ID before a mail-out ballot is done, and then confirmation somehow of an absentee ballot and mail-in ballot, and should be done before there is fraud. Maybe not in the millions, but there is fraud. I do agree that there is some level of fraud, Easy, but this whole thing, if you have a mail-out ballot, who do you show your ID to? The postman?
Yeah, I believe so.
I don't understand. I don't know how you would fix that.
And apparently there's a new way. Thumbprints. They'll have a little ink blot that you can put your thumbprint on there to make sure you are who you say you are. Maybe a retina scan we could start doing.
Lance says the poll workers in Rome are 80 years old and are confused half the time. Voter fraud wouldn't be too difficult there for sure.
Well, Lance, a good example for you to get off your ass and volunteer. Actually, they pay
you $200 a day.
They pay good money.
They pay
it's
you.
It's a 12-hour shift, but it's $200.
But now, because they're doing it with early voting, I mean, they're out.
It's
they're
a job.
in there. They're in there a couple of weeks.
Oh yeah,
it's nice, Jeff. You didn't hear that.
Pension padding.
I love my poll workers. When I go to vote at my place, they know I don't need an ID. They know who I am.
Oh, it's like, that Keeler again.
It's Bill Keeler from Rock 107, everybody.
Yeah, he gets
the radio station you never worked for.
Bill gets a vote for every single station he worked for.
I loved it when you were on OUR. I never worked on OUR.
Oh, it was OUR you were never on, yeah.
I actually did a week on OUR while I was here after we bought the station. But all right.
But just think, if I was your correspondent down at the polling locations, the baked goods I could bring to you and Smitty every day.
That's true.
You'd gain 20 pounds.
Well, I feel like we've exhausted. I'm not making any attempt to change anybody's mind. I'm just telling you why something exists. Why would they not want an ID unless they want to cheat? That's not necessarily true. There's a great long history of why voter ID is a problem for certain sectors, especially African Americans. And it's a long history, and it didn't start with Republicans. Right. It started with Democrats. Yep. And it all was based on suppressing the vote. And that's why this is such a big issue.
All right, so one more thing. This is the last issue, I promised. Ed sent this to me. Ed Welsh sent this to me yesterday, and I told him I'd get it on the air, and I forgot. He brings up a good point here, and I don't know the ins and outs of this, but I do think it's worth looking into. A lot of times when you go to the DMV and you get your license, he says the ID issue should be a non-issue. You cannot get food stamps, Medicare, get on an airplane, blah, 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 blah.
Again, those are not constitutional rights.
The logic is that since they're registered to vote, they must be legal. Okay, here's a fair question. Can we guarantee that non-citizens who get a driver's license, that they aren't automatically registered to vote and are not voting?
Well, I don't think.
Because there is an automatic registration they do now.
There is a law and a penalty for any non-citizen who votes. Any non-citizen who votes, that is illegal, and it is punishable by law. So what more do we want to do? All right.
Also, Lance can't do the voter registration thing or the polling
Oh, he
location.
can't work there.
He says, I can't leave my basement.
Oh, that's good.
That's right. Listen, Davey, get Lance's address and let's send him some of those Rap City potato chips. He's down there in that basement all by himself. He's going to have a long, cold weekend. Long, cold weekend.
I thought Ed Welch was going to be pushing for autos to vote.
Yeah, that's right. You must have a car to vote.
You must have a car.
Yeah, you don't have a car to vote.
And
what
not those
good are you?
Not
what
those
good
EVs
are you?
either.
Let me break. By the way, let me break for the first time since we started. Oh, boy. Davey, are you all right in there?
Davey'd be pulling out his hair if he had hair.
Yeah, he's going to be in a meeting at 9:15 this morning. I'm sorry,
how do we make up all these
Out
commercials?
of all this, you and I argue, and Davey's the one who's really angry.
Well, listen, if this is an argument, I'm okay with arguments because it's, nobody's punched anybody yet. Give me a couple of cocktails. Yeah. There was this one time. No, I don't want to talk about that. Jeff, I'm going to just say this. Jeff is large enough to lift me up off the ground where my feet don't touch so I can't go anywhere. That was a long time ago. Davey, was there a winner of Jimmy Fallon tickets yesterday?
No.
So we have that one pair left?
It was Jerry that was the contestant. He said, I won't be able to go.
We have that one pair left, so maybe we do one more pair. I like it. And then tomorrow, I'm going to do something. I just got to make sure this is legal to do. It would be legal, right? Anyone who will do an upgrade tomorrow, anyone who has tickets already is eligible. I think that's okay, right? If you bought tickets,
I think so.
You'd be eligible to win the only backstage VIP meeting with Jimmy. There'll be only one.
That'd be me.
You're already back there. You're escorting him in. But this would be so we'll do an upgrade tomorrow. So we'll do that tomorrow. But today we'll give away a pair of tickets, and then we have Jimmy on tomorrow too, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
So this morning, a pair of tickets plus how much Bikers free money question? What is it worth?
$250.
$250 today. All right, we're going to do that coming up in about 20. Oh, it's 7:26. Let's bring in the next guest.
And we got to make our other call. She just texted me. She's expecting our call.
Okay, Melissa. Yes. Yeah, we'll do that. All right, stand by. It's WIBX.
Hurt in a car? Call William Attar. 315-444-4444.
Tallman's Tire and Auto Service, family owned and operated since 1980. Tallman's is proud to provide trusted, professional auto care to our community. From brake repairs and New York State inspections to check engine light diagnostic to four-wheel alignments, Tallman's Tire and Auto Service accept all aftermarket warranties, and they specialize in fleet vehicles, accepting all fleet maintenance programs. When your vehicle needs attention, you can count on them to get you back on the road quickly and safely. Save time and money. Schedule your appointment today at tallmanstire.com.
The Capitol Theater in Rome will be buzzing this Saturday night. Jimmy Fallon brings his all-new Everybody Calm Down show to the Rome Capitol Theater this Saturday at 7 p.m. Great seats still available for purchase at romecapital.com.
Hey, it's your radio buddy Jimmy Fallon, and I am coming. This is not a drill, folks. It's the real thing.
A portion of the proceeds benefit real men get tested for cancer. Jimmy Fallon. Saturday night, 7 p.m. at the Rome Capitol Theater. Purchase tickets at the box office or in romecapital.com.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
28 years ago, Lori Potasowicz had a dream. With a natural love for pets, she wanted to become an expert groomer. So she set out to become the area's only nationally certified master groomer and and launched her business, One Paw at a Time. With grooming expertise and a lot of loving care, Lori and her talented team began caring for pets one paw at a time. Cuts, shampoos, and styling, one paw at a time. Teeth and nails with no detail overlooked from head to toe, one paw at a time. Getting to know each and every dog and cat by name, the One Paw at a Time family grew, and Lori had a decision to make. Keep expanding? She followed her heart and decided to keep the One Paw family atmosphere just the way it is, so she can keep taking care of the pets she knows and loves, one paw at a time. Lori and her team want to thank the families they serve for putting their trust in them to care for their four-legged family members, one paw at a time. 320 Oriskany Boulevard in Whitesboro near Woods Road. One Paw appreciates your understanding for their current waiting list for new customers.
Something old is new in the village of New Hartford. Introducing Handshake Antiques, now open at 66 Genesee Street, next to Giorgio's Village Cafe. Not your grandma's antique shop. Think clean, curated, and cool. From high-end furniture, vintage fashion, vinyl records, to oddities and all things eclectic. And we're always buying, so look in your attic or basement. And if it's old, call Handshake Antiques. Plus, inventory changes weekly, so every visit is a new find. Handshake Antiques, where it never went out of style.
It's the best tailgate party of the season this Sunday at Waterfront Grill Herkimer. A full tailgate buffet, drinks, multiple TVs, plus Giants tickets, Buffalo Bills tickets to give away. $30 tickets benefit the Great American Heart Run and Walk, Little Falls Hospital, Herkimer County Humane Society, and Real Men get tested for cancer. The best pre-Super Bowl tailgate party of the season this Sunday, 11:30 till 3:30, Waterfront Grill Herkimer from WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Celebrating 100 years. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
There was something about that. I was never a Pizza Hut fan, and my wife came from out of town and loved Pizza Hut. But I did like their. We're talking about Pizza Hut off air because Pizza Hut is now what they're going to close a bunch of stores. I don't know that the one here in New Hartford will be closed, but you're talking about bringing back the buffet, and. Since COVID, we kind of have avoided buffets, but maybe it's okay now. But I love they had the perfect salad that I loved. Macaroni salad along with lettuce, cheese, jalapenos to the point where there's sweat on the top of your head. And Thousand Island dressing with vinegar. I would just love that. And I don't think there is a buffet here now. Is there one in Rome, Davey? Is that a full Pizza Hut in Rome?
Yeah, but I think they have the buffet on Mondays.
Oh, only one day a week.
One night, $11.99. It's on Mondays.
Okay, all right.
He's got the deal. He knows the military discount. He knows the cost and everything. By the way, I'll just mention, I think the last buffet I was at was at Turning Stone. You ever go to that one?
That's a beauty. Have you been to the new one?
No, I think I went 2 years ago.
That might be the new one. I don't know, but there's a line to get in that place.
Yeah, it was impressive. Yes, there was a line when we were there. Yes,
it's not your average buffet. And that, of course, is Melo Testa in Myrtle Beach or Florida?
I don't know.
I think he's in Myrtle Beach, the home of those huge, enormous buffets. Like they go aisle after aisle after aisle, and crab legs and.
I was gonna say a lot of seafood.
Yeah, those are pretty good. Let's see who's on this line, Davey.
Neil.
Is this?
It's Saeed
Karsik. Good morning, Saeed. Good morning.
Morning, Bill. How are you?
Good. It's time for the Mohawk Valley Crime Stoppers Wanted Person of the Week, and we do this every week. And the goal is to try to make our communities safer. And what do we have this morning? Who is this week's Wanted Person of the Week?
Bill, this week we have a individual by the name of Orlando Kajigas. He's a black male. He's 47 years of age. He's 5'10", weighs approximately 240 pounds. He has black hair, brown eyes. The sheriff's office currently holds one bench warrant out of Rome City Court for Mr. Kajigas for failure to appear on a misdemeanor drug possession charge. But on top of that, Mr. Kajigas also has 5 additional warrants out of the City of Utica Police Department for various crimes, to include DWI, criminal contempt, and misdemeanor drug possession.
So in demand, wanted by a lot of agencies. We'll have a full story and photo up on our website at WIBX950.com. And again, this is absolutely anonymous at Mohawk Valley Crime Stoppers. You can send in a tip using the app or the phone or the web, however you want to do it, and it is 100% anonymous. And investigator, we appreciate what you do, and thank you so much.
Yes, Bill, thank you for having me on.
All right, have a great day. That is Investigator Sahid Karsik with the United County Sheriff's Office. In studio right now is Mike Fellows. Mike is one who has had complaints when it comes to the Republican Party, the Oneida County Republican Committee, and you are a Republican. And what are you doing now? You're doing something to really help people, I feel.
This is bipartisan, Republican, Democrat,
this
Independent.
is bipartisan. It has nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
This is to teach people how to access the ballot, whether it's helping candidates that they support or if they actually want to run for office, whether you want to, run for assembly or county council. I mean, governor's a little high stretch, but, we need people also on the committee to get free thinkers in there. Everybody is kind of going one way, and
so you're also would help people become a committee member.
Yeah, that's part of it.
Okay.
I mean, that is the lowest end, and that helps give the voter an eye into what the candidates are and maybe possible, somebody that could fulfill the position and work for the people.
So this would for filling out official petitions.
Yep.
Doing it correctly and legally. That's a big deal.
Exactly.
Right?
That's huge because you could get them struck out if you do a mistake. Obviously, you have to witness the person. It has to be the person. They have to be party enrolled, whether it's a Democrat or Republican. You have to make sure that they are registered in that party. Independents are a little different. So they have a little different rules. But, there's a lot
all the way up to the top.
Yeah.
Interesting. And back to the argument of whether I believe there is no fraud or there is fraud, but we have checks and balances. And I imagine that there's some fraud that doesn't get caught. But we were on a race maybe 10 years ago. Actually, the seat that Marianne Bottenshawn won
I was going to bring this up.
Was because of a fraudulent at the signature process.
Yes.
Right, and this
long
is what you're
before
covering.
the election, and that's a big.
It is
to
huge.
do it right is a big deal, and you can't. I know he'd do it, so I'll write his signature down for him. Can't do that.
Yeah, that person has to sign that signature.
Yeah.
The wife, the sister, son, whatever, they cannot. That person has to sign it.
And here's another process
there's also no checks and balances. Like the Board of Elections, if there's nobody to contest it or make objections, it just passes. So you could literally have 100% of your signatures forged, and you would never know
As long
if you
as
don't
no one
look at
contests,
it.
though.
Yeah.
Usually in a contested race, people do nitpick signatures.
Well, parties, they do
Sure.
scrub that. They call it scrubbing. They go through them and they try to get them off on a technicality. They don't want to face them on the ballot because they might have a chance that they're
Well,
gonna
like
lose.
anything else, if there isn't somebody out there to report the crime, chances are the crime could go unnoticed.
True.
And I don't know what you're saying is absolutely true. I will talk to somebody from the Board of Elections to see, is there a process where if somebody was like putting Mickey Mouse 50 times, would that go right through? I can't imagine. They wouldn't catch it. Gather valid signatures the right way. That is important. A lot of times you get a lot of, you can't duplicate signatures.
Yes.
You can't get somebody from out of the district or out of whatever
It
that.
has to be in the district, assembly district, wherever that seat is held, that's where you have to get that signature.
And then compliance with New York State election law.
Right.
The finance aspect of it. This is and you're doing this for free because there are people out there that get hired to do this for campaigns.
Right. Yeah. I want to give people an avenue so they can actually come up and step up and actually, they always complain about government. Well, here's your chance. Let's get in here. Let's figure this thing out. We This starts February 24th. You have till the 14th if you want to get on a party or if you want to be still stay independent. I'm hearing a lot of old conservative Democrats actually jumping ship and actually going on the independent side.
Oh, interesting.
I wonder if the same is going on the conservative side as well. Because I mean, there's a little far right, far left that needs to come back into the center.
So you're doing one of these on Thursday night, February 12th at 6 p.m.
1 week from tonight. Yep.
Dunham Public Library. And then on Saturday, the 21st, at the Utica Public Library.
Yes.
Anything else you want people to know? It's free.
Yeah, it's free. Get out here, try to learn how to help the process go. We need more people involved instead of a small group controlling everything. And that's the only way things are going to change. There's a lot of shady people in government, and we need people that are legitimate and here to do the right thing.
All right. Yeah. Good stuff. Again, we'll post this on our site February 12th, 6 p.m., Dunham Public Library, and then 21st, Utica Public Library on Genesee Street, 10:30 on Saturday morning.
Yes.
All right, good stuff. We appreciate it, Mike. Thank you. I'm confused. Someone is trying to do something positive, and it's free, and there's nothing in it for him. I don't know. So thank you.
Don't ever do it again, Mike.
I'm suspicious.
You're not going to personally benefit from this.
That's not
Nobody's
true.
going to trust you. We're obviously kidding here. But again, a week from tonight and then Saturday the 21st, Dunham Public Library and then the Utica Public Library. And you can check it out. You can also email yourvoicematters76@gmail.com.
Okay, so the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills is the area's premier osteopathic medical clinic, accepting new patients right now. They have a new doctor. Cheryl Mattern, who's from the Sequoia area, came back to the area and has come in under the umbrella of the Falcon Clinic. And Tim, have you had your
March?
In March, okay. Do you want to talk about it or do you don't want to talk about it?
I don't want to talk about
it. Okay, let's not talk about it. We're talking about the chocolate milkshakes at Stewart's.
Yes.
You got to get it. They're really good. Yeah.
The buffet.
Dr. Kosminski is an acupuncturist. You have Dr. Zielinski, Dr. Shemolensky, but all these under one roof at the Falcon Clinic. Call 315-507-4751 for the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills. All right, it's time to do Hobica's free money question of the day. Today, Davey, you're dozing off on me in there. Today, we're doing $250.
Well, I got here early today. I was here by 4:15.
Yeah. If you needed me to come in there and like
4:15.
4:15.
What?
4:15.
No, that's military time for what is it? Space
Force.
Space Force. 3-4-15. So how long have you been here?
3-4-15.
Since 4:15.
Oh, 4:15.
Since 4:15. Okay. Well, keep awake in there.
I'm okay.
We're looking for caller 3-4-15. No. What caller number are you looking for?
I need a wake-up call.
You do.
Yeah.
You do.
Jeff will take care of you.
All right. All right. Caller number what?
And we'll both be late.
Caller 6.
Caller 6. All right. We're going with the sixth caller right now. It's worth $250. And if you like Jimmy Fallon tickets, caller number 6, 315-736 right now, 315-736-0186.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-923-6829 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-923-6829. That's 800-923-6829. What do you have to lose? Call 800-923-6829. Again, 800-923-6829.
Something old is new in the village of New Hartford. Introducing Handshake Antiques, now open at 66 Genesee Street, next to Giorgio's Village Cafe. Not your grandma's antique shop. Think clean, curated, and cool. From high-end furniture, vintage fashion, vinyl records, to oddities and all things eclectic. And we're always buying, so look in your attic or basement. And if it's old, call Handshake Antiques. Plus, inventory changes weekly, so every visit is a new find. Handshake Antiques, where it never went out of style.
The Capitol Theater in Rome will be buzzing this Saturday night. Jimmy Fallon brings his all-new Everybody Calm Down show to the Rome Capitol Theater this Saturday at 7 p.m. Great seats still available for purchase at RomeCapital.com.
Hey, it's your radio buddy Jimmy Fallon, and I am coming. This is not a drill, folks. It's the real thing.
A portion of the proceeds benefit Real Men Get Tested for Cancer. Jimmy Fallon. Saturday night, 7 p.m. at the Rome Capitol Theater. Purchase tickets at the box office or at RomeCapital.com.
This President's Day, Pure Talk is honoring Jackson and Lincoln by offering unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data for just $25 a month. Meanwhile, Big Wireless is honoring Benjamin Franklin by charging families hundreds of dollars for the same 5G service. What's up with that? Ben Franklin wasn't even a president. When you switch to Pure Talk, you'll be in business with an American wireless company that supports our vets in a big way and keeps all their customer service in this country. That's important. And you'll be on the same towers the big carriers use, so you'll get the same 5G service without the inflated price. So hang on to your Benjamins and switch to Pure Talk for a Jackson and a Lincoln. No contract, no hidden fees. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and you'll get 50% off your first month when you switch. That's pound 250, Mike Rowe, for an American wireless company that is truly unprecedented. Pure Talk.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Okay, it's time for Abika's free money question of the day. And along with the money, there's a chance. We had a couple of winners here. Along with the money, there's a chance at Jimmy Fallon tickets. Jimmy coming to the Rome Capitol Saturday night. And you can go to RomeCapital.com for tickets. We're really excited about the show. And there's an opening act as well that I think you're going to like a lot as well. She's on the New York City comedy circuit, but she's from here. Her family is from here. So a great little tie-in there. I'm excited about that.
Is she originally from here? Somebody
Yes.
said to me, I think we
Yes.
went to high school with her, and I apologize if I don't remember her.
Did you?
That's what I was told, but I don't remember
At Notre
her.
Dame? I guess it's possible. I guess it's possible. I don't
Somebody
know.
said, don't you remember we went to high school with her? The guy who listens to the
She's
show like every day.
very, very
I said, I
funny.
didn't think so.
You're going to love her. Anyway, that all happens Saturday night at the Rome Capitol Theater. Love doing it at the Capitol Theater. One of the other great facilities that we have here in the area. On the line right now is Terry in Clayville. Hello, Terry. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
Good. Do you have your ID?
Do I have my ID?
Yeah, in order to play,
do
we're
I need-
requiring. I'm just kidding. It's a joke. It's a little joke.
Sorry, honestly, I just left for work. I heard Jimmy Fallon ticket, 6 caller, and I just dialed, so I didn't hear the.
All right, well, let's. No need to worry. Listen. It is. It's a great opportunity here. Plus $250. This question will get you $250. And it comes from the Abika Law Firm, Joseph and Andrew Abika, at 315-724-1600. All right, are you ready to go?
I think so.
All right, here is your question. It's from the category, you finish the name. You finish the name. Edith. Okay, here's the name. Edith, Kermit, Caro, blank. Ready, go.
Wait, can you repeat that? Edith, Kermit, Carol, O'Connor?
Blank. Oh, you're going to say O'Connor? I think that was actually, that's actually a good guess because you're thinking All in the Family.
Yeah.
Edith, Kermit, Caro.
Yes.
Edith, Kermit, Caro. Any idea? This is a tough one.
I have no idea.
Roosevelt. It was Teddy Roosevelt's first lady's wife. She was the first lady of the United States. Edith.
Yeah, the Kermit threw me.
Yeah, the Kermit. Yeah, and so did the Edith. The Edith got you right into that right into that All in the Family thing there. All right.
That's where I was heading, for sure.
Here's what I'm going to do. I always give everybody at least one more chance for the Jimmy Fallon tickets. Okay?
Oh, my gosh. I thought I got them, but okay. I'm with you.
Well, you didn't, but we'll see. We'll see here. All right, here is your question. For the Jimmy Fallon tickets, creators of Casper say this film's logo plagiarized one of their characters. What is the name of the movie? Ready, go.
You said Casper.
Casper, what's the name of the movie? The ghost movie.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Did you say Ghostbusters?
I did say Ghostbusters.
I thought you did. He wins, for God's sakes. That's right. That's right, Terry. You said Ghostbusters. I think. Yeah, I think you did, right? Yeah, I did.
I did.
We're going to give you the Jimmy Fallon tickets, so I want you to stand by. It's for Saturday night. It's our final pair to give away, and you got them. So stand by. Davey's going to hook you up, okay?
Thank you. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
All right, you're going to love the show. Don't go anywhere, Davey. He is yours. And then, are you getting the next thing for me? Okay, good. You can get tickets at romecapital.com.
A quick note on the Theodore Roosevelt's wife and mother. You know, they died on the same day.
They did?
Yeah, he must have been married more than once.
This whole dying on the same day thing was weird back then. I mean, Thomas Jefferson and John Adams dying on the same day.
Yeah.
And it turns out to be 4th of July. I don't believe it.
It's wild. And we've had 4 either presidents or vice presidents or basically huge leaders die on July 4th. I'd have to look up all the names again.
Yeah. I wonder, you know, if you're the doctor and you're trying to, listen, it's July 1st. Wouldn't it be cool if he died on July 4th?
Make him live for 3 more days.
I mean, he was a forefather. Can we keep him alive? Give me some more morphine. Let's just keep him. And then it probably, you look up the time, it probably had to happen at like 12:02 a.m., July 4th. And I think Thomas Jefferson went first. But how do we know, really? Right? Within 24 hours, how did they get the word out? But Adams wanted to be the last. I want to survive longer than Thomas Jefferson.
So a quick note: your Edith was the second wife. The first wife, Alice Hathaway Lee, died on the same day as Roosevelt's mother. He returned from the New York State Legislature on Valentine's Day, 1884. There's another notable date. Imagine losing your spouse on Valentine's Day. He returned home, summoned by his family. His mother passed from typhoid fever. On the same day, just a few hours later, Alice Lee died of Bright's disease, a severe kidney ailment, and it came just 2 days after she gave birth to the couple's daughter, Alice.
Wow. But I think, wasn't, what's his name? Who was Archie Bunker? What was Archie Bunker's name?
Carol
O'Connor.
Yeah.
So I thought his answer of O'Connor was pretty good. Edith.
That's where
Hermit,
I thought it was going.
Carol. It sounds like Carol, but it's Caro O'Connor. Was the name. Anyway, he'll still get the tickets to see Jimmy, and that happens Saturday night. All right, this is really interesting. I really enjoy talking to Melissa Swartz. She is an attorney in the area, and is the attorney for Caitlin Conley, and is also the attorney for Gordon Woody Mowers, a case that goes back to 1996. It's in the news right now, of course, as he's looking to have his murder guilty plea vacated. And Melissa is on the line right now. Good morning.
Good morning. How is everybody doing?
Doing well. I got to tell you, I had one wish for this winter. I want this winter to be long and very cold. And boy,
really?
I love the cold. I really do. I also enjoy sarcasm. So take it for what it's worth.
I don't know you that well.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I don't know. Maybe you're a winter guy. Maybe you're a ski bunny.
Yeah, it's not me. Even if you are a ski bunny,
it's too cold.
It's too cold. Did you see at Gore Mountain? All of those people got stuck on the ski lift. Wow. Okay.
I did not.
This is a very interesting story, one that we certainly watched back in 1996. And right now, explain if you could, Woody Mowers is saying, I was coerced into that guilty plea. I want a new trial. What are your thoughts? Obviously, you're handling his case.
Yeah, so right now he made a motion and we were granted a hearing, not by the county court judge, Judge Lampert, but by the third department. He was granted a hearing to litigate whether or not his guilty plea was made knowing, intelligently, and voluntarily. That's the standard to look at. So if he were to win this motion, he were to get his first trial since he pled guilty and he hasn't been to trial yet.
Okay. Oh, so he's not. This would be his first trial. I never thought about that because he pleaded. Yeah. And what was the reason for? He said that, and at the time, I believe the death penalty was not on the table or was on the table. And what was his reason for agreeing to plead guilty?
So in 1995, the death penalty started being utilized again, very short-lived in New York, but it did. So the death penalty, he was charged with murder first under the theory that he had killed 2 or more people. That would be his mother and his father. So it was death eligible at that time. And they never filed an actual death notice, but they said it death qualified and they were considering seeking the death penalty against him. And they didn't actually file the formal notice because he took the life without parole plea. The reason why he's challenging his plea now is because he was given 2 pieces of advice. Well, one piece of advice that was erroneous, and that was once the death penalty is found unconstitutional, life without parole will also be found unconstitutional, and you'll be resentenced to no more than 25 to life, since he only pled guilty to 1 count of murder. And then the second piece of this puzzle, which I think is the more interesting piece, is that he was paid $10,000 to waive off his family's estate. And that waiver and him receiving the $10,000 was in conjunction with him pleading guilty to the offense. And he was paid the $10,000. That's, I don't think anybody's trying to say that he wasn't given that money. The question is whether or not that money was utilized to get him to plead guilty.
Very interesting, Tim.
So, Melissa, would his whoever, I mean, I guess what the thing is what we're saying here is that he had ineffective counsel. So would the people who were giving him that advice, would they be brought before the court to say, yes, I said that, or no, I didn't?
Yeah, so they already had, that's what we did last week or 2 weeks ago. We had a hearing and all of the attorneys involved testified.
Okay. So it would not. He would not be in a situation where, because he's not saying that he did not commit the murders. Is that correct?
I mean, if we want to talk about what's in the investigative file, he did give a confession in the investigative file.
Okay. But what would happen is he would then, what he could accomplish out of this, again, I may not be right, and I'm asking you, what he could accomplish is the chance at parole?
No, his conviction would be completely vacated.
Wow.
And the people would have to choose whether or not they could move forward with
a retrial.
With a trial.
Or wait, with a trial.
This case is 30 years old.
Right.
And it never went to trial for the first time. So that means that nobody has testified under oath and been subject to cross-examination. So to get in testimony, say there's people that are deceased now, there's no testimony from those people. So
yeah.
What could come in and what can't come in is something that I really haven't, dove into at this point. But yeah, I mean, there's probably some issues with retrying the case.
Yeah. Okay.
I was going to say it would seem to, and again, I'm not picking sides here, but it would seem to significantly handicap the prosecution because most, if not all, their witnesses are probably no longer with us. So
the other question I would have along that line would be when the judge comes up with a conclusion and makes a decision in this case, can part of the decision be, well, if I decide to vacate this, he could go free and he shouldn't go free, in my opinion, or is it simply the letter of the law?
It's simply the letter of the law.
Okay, that's that technicality. It's easy for us to sit back and say, "Well, I hate these technicalities. I knew of a rapist once who went free based on a technicality." But it's those technicalities, those legal rights that we have as citizens that protect all of us, as well as people who are going through the system. I think that's important to note.
Yeah, I mean, I know somebody that was falsely accused of a rape and got incarcerated for 16 years on a technicality. So which one would you rather have?
Yeah.
Somebody go free or somebody spend 16 and a half years of their life in prison and another 23 on the sex offender registry before he could get any sort of relief? I know what camp I'm in, but I think that's pretty obvious.
Agree. Yeah. Well, yes, you're. But I fear, though, there are people that are like, well, listen, we're going to make a few mistakes, whatever, as long as we get the bad guys. And I think that's our current mentality in some cases. And I find that to be dangerous and going down a slippery slope. So this is going to be very interesting. When do you expect the decision?
So the parties have until the beginning of March to submit a post-hearing memorandum of law to the court. And then the court, there's really no timeline on when Judge Lampert needs to make a decision. If I'm being completely honest, I don't think this is a case that I'm going to prevail at the county court level. I think it's something that would be reversed by the third department, similar to Caitlin Conley.
All right. And that's another case. I'm running out of time. Another case I'd love to get you back on for. Melissa, thank you so much.
WIBX Utica Road, W295 From the WB Payne Insurance Studios, your news talk leader since 1925. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now the latest from Fox News.
Still no sign of Nancy Guthrie. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
She is without any medicine. She needs it to survive. And she needs it not to suffer.
Today's show host Savannah Guthrie and her brother and sister put that video on social media.
We love you, Mom.
Love you, Mom. We love you, Mom. Stay strong.
Nancy Guthrie was kidnapped over the weekend from her home in Tucson, Arizona.
We, too, have heard the reports about a ransom letter in the media. As a family, we are doing everything that we can. We are ready to talk.
Asking for proof from whoever took her. The 84-year-old mother is still alive. Fox's Lisa Cunha is in Tucson.
The investigation is about to feel the full force of the federal government's investigative powers. President Trump posting on social media last night, quote, "I spoke with Savannah Guthrie and let her know that I am directing all federal law enforcement to be at the families and the local law enforcement's complete disposal immediately."
And we'll hear from President Trump later this hour at the National Prayer Breakfast. And Fox's Jackie Heinrich reports.
The White House says President Trump has made strides to protect Americans' God-given rights and also his promise to reverse Joe Biden's policies that weaponize the government against people of faith.
The president tells NBC News after all the anti-ICE protests in Minneapolis, angry about immigration enforcement.
Maybe we can use a little bit of a softer touch, but you still have to be tough. These are criminals. We're dealing with really hard criminals.
There has been a drawdown of 700 federal agents from Minnesota. The president also says ahead of direct talks with Iran tomorrow, the supreme leader should be very worried with U.S. military ships in the region that he could take action like last year's bombings if Iran doesn't make a deal.
If we didn't take out that nuclear, we wouldn't have peace in the Middle East because the Arab countries could have never done that. They were very, very afraid of Iran. They're not afraid of Iran anymore.
America's listening to Fox News.
Living with everyday pain is like having a voice that always says, no, you can't do that. No, you better sit this one out. It's no way to live. So if pain is affecting you, see how Relief Factor can help get you back to life on your terms. One where you say yes a lot more. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor's unique formula of natural ingredients does not just mask pain, it helps reduce or eliminate it for good. Whether it's your back, neck, joints, or muscles, Relief Factor can help you, as it has for so many others. So call 1-800-4RELIEF and give Relief Factor's 3-week quick start a try. It's only $19.95, less than $1 a day to get your life back. Just go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF, and see how you can say yes to more of everything you want.
While immigration enforcement remains under scrutiny in Minneapolis and other cities, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem went to the Arizona border, touting not just an end to the Biden-era surge of illegal crossings.
Customs and Border Protection has recorded the lowest number of encounters in the agency's history in 2025. Daily encounters have fallen by 95% over the last year.
Some in Congress have called for Secretary Noem to lose her job over the ICE controversy, and there's a fight over funding for her agency, which only got 2 weeks' worth of money in the bill that ended the partial government shutdown this week.
Democrats are looking to send a proposal to their Republican counterparts on a deal to fund the Department of Homeland Security. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries claims leadership in both the House and Senate are unified in their message.
ICE is completely and totally out of control.
Democrats are pushing for judicial warrants, masks to come off, and want people to have the ability to sue ICE over misconduct. Republicans have a number of issues with what Democrats are proposing, believing it could put agents in danger and hurt their ability to arrest dangerous criminals. DHS funding runs out next week. On Capitol Hill, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
A shooting in Arizona led to something even worse, a helicopter crash.
The pilot and a trooper who was a paramedic were killed in the crash in Flagstaff, the only 2 people on board. They're with the Arizona Department of Public Safety, providing air support during an active shooter incident. That suspect is in custody, wounded in a shootout with law enforcement before the crash. No one else was injured. Police had asked people in the neighborhood to stay inside during the investigation and for others to stay away. There will be a federal investigation into the cause of the helicopter crash. Chris Foster, Fox News.
On Wall Street, stock futures aren't moving much ahead of the opening bell this morning. Breaking news out of Italy on day 2 of the Winter Olympics. Ahead of the opening ceremony tomorrow as the women's hockey tournament starts, Finland's game against Canada has been postponed because Finland's roster has been depleted by a stomach virus. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
It should be a party.
You can't
I'm running
say
on
that.
the Democratic line and also the IC line.
You can't say that when I'm about to go on and do the news. We have
Good morning,
cloudy,
Jeff. Good morning.
Cloudy skies and 12 degrees. Good morning. I'm Jeff Manaski. WIBX 950 AM. 92.3 FM news time is 8:05. The community is being reminded that local police departments do not call you for bail to get a loved one out of trouble. Apparently, this issue has popped up again. The warning comes from the Oneida County Sheriff's Office, and they say it's not just people pretending to be sheriff's deputies. They claim to be from local departments as well. Sometimes the number comes up on your caller ID as a local number, or it might even just say something like Oneida County. But the Sheriff's Office reports that scammers are at it again, using names like Sergeant Thomas or Lieutenant Moore, and they claim they can help with a legal issue that you or a loved one is facing. They can get you out of jail, get you an ankle monitor, or, again, with bail. Officials explain that scammers sometimes use caller ID with spoofing, so it makes it look like a local number. Victims are being pressured to send money quickly, often through apps like Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal, or by going to a physical location to drop off money, cash, gift cards. The Sheriff's Office stresses they will never call to demand payment for fines, bail, or legal matters, and they never ask for payment through electronic transfers. The Rescue Mission of Utica announcing they have postponed their annual Walk a Mile in My Shoes fundraising event because of extreme cold expected this weekend. Wind chills could dip as low as 15 degrees below zero. The decision was made out of an abundance of caution. Registration and walk times and the walk itself are being pushed back a week. It'll now be held next Saturday, February 14th. Registration begins at 10 a.m. and the walk begins at 11. New Hartford police charging a local man with several charges, including DWI, after a report of an injured man in a parking lot. Officers responded to the Burn Dairy on Campion Road for a report of a man who had fallen and hurt himself. After field sobriety tests and further investigation, officers say Gerard Goings drove himself there. He was charged with felony DWI with a previous conviction within 10 years, felony aggravated unlicensed operation of a motor vehicle, along with alleged consumption of alcohol or cannabis while operating a motor vehicle. Goings was arrested and taken to the county jail waiting arraignment. And Governor Kathy Hochul announcing her running mate for the upcoming 2026 election. She's selected Adrian Adams, no relation to former New York City Mayor Eric Adams, to run as her number 2. Adams, a veteran Queens politician, wrapped up her speaker's gig a few months ago. She was the New York City Council Speaker. Adams was chosen after reportedly being turned down by other New York City Democrats, including Bronx Senator Jamal Bailey and Queens Borough President Donovan Richards. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM news time is 8:09. Here is a look at your Weather Center forecast.
Short term, slightly milder. Longer term, tomorrow night into the weekend, extremely cold. Extreme cold watch late Friday night through Sunday afternoon. Wind chills 20 below zero. Air temperatures below zero. Daytime highs, single digits. Today 20, tomorrow 27. Actually may feel pretty good. Some scattered flurries, snow showers, especially today. Now, tomorrow night, we'll see the Arctic front come in. Snow showers into Saturday. Maybe a couple of inches in some spots. By Saturday, highs will only be in the single digits. Saturday night, the cold night, down into the teens below zero. North Country, well below zero. From the Weather Channel, meteorologist Ray Shijik, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Right now, cloudy and 12 degrees at 8:09. All right, breaking news. The Super Bowl is on Sunday. I don't know if you'd heard that. And we know the teams now, too, just announced.
They have they? Yeah.
Seahawks and Patriots. They recycle these stories. It's, media week. When it comes to the team, Seattle hopes to erase a heartbreaking Super Bowl 49 loss to the New England Patriots. You'll never forget that when Russell Wilson threw that goal line interception to end their shot at back-to-back Lombardi trophies. It's the first time the Seahawks have been back in the big game since that moment in 2015. Some big trades in the NBA. Anthony Davis is on the move. He's out of Dallas, headed to the Washington Wizards. The 10-time All-Star is part of a deal that includes 8 total players and 5 future draft picks. The Mavs send Davis, Jaden Hardy, D'Angelo Russell, Dante Exum to Washington in exchange for Chris Middleton, A.J. Johnson, Malachi Branham, Marvin Bagley III, 2 first-round picks, 3 second-round picks, and a partridge in a pear tree. The Clippers also making a trade to officially rid themselves of Chris Paul. The team parted ways with him in December, but officially he was still under contract with the team. Los Angeles sends Paul to the Toronto Raptors as part of a 3-team trade that also includes the Brooklyn Nets. The Raptors are acquiring the 12-time All-Star, but will not require him to report to the team. Reports say he still could be traded before this afternoon's trade deadline. The Giants adding a new executive to their front office. Dawn Aponte had been an NFL executive since 2017. She's now been hired as the Giants' Senior Vice President of Football Operations and Strategy. As I mentioned, she has spent several years with the NFL as their Chief Administrator of Football Operations. And the Jets officially finding their new offensive coordinator. He was the longtime and infamous, I shouldn't say infamous, he was the backup of the Buffalo Bills. Frank Reich was also a head coach with the Indianapolis Colts, but Reich will always be known for that amazing comeback against
which was infamous.
Oilers
in that moment
in the playoffs. No 35-3 game. It was 35-3 or 38-3.
I'd even call it a historic Buffalo Bills comeback.
Amazing. The backup quarterback, of course, a backup to Jim Kelly, but he's the one who orchestrated that comeback.
And a great, really a great comeback to give you hope that if you have a backup quarterback that comes in, all is not lost. Even Jim Kelly was legendary, and believe me, when you thought you were going to lose anyway because we were so far behind, but what a comeback.
Was Wade Phillips the coach when that happened?
No.
I think it was way back. Marv Levy was still the coach.
Okay.
Yeah. So it is still, I wasn't sure because the Patriots comeback against the Falcons was a lot of points. It was almost 30, I thought. But it is still the biggest NFL playoff comeback. Buffalo Bills 32-point rally. The score was 35-3 in the third quarter. Oh my goodness! It gets better the more you look into it. 5 straight scoring drives to win 41-38 in overtime. Just officially known as, quote, the comeback.
Think of the comebacks that Josh Allen had this year. It just became a get behind by 20 points, 30 points, 20, not 30, but at least 20 points,
right?
And come back. Believe me, that's hopefully a problem they're addressing for next year.
To have a resume like that.
Yeah.
And then to go with the Jets. By the way, Reich will be the 12th Jets offensive coordinator in 16 seasons.
Wow.
Oh, boy. Wayne, good morning.
Guys, I need to ask you a question. With school buses, say you're coming upon a school bus, okay, and the school bus doesn't have them, them stop flaps out. Then all of a sudden you're like maybe a third of the way through the school bus, the body of the school bus, and then clip it right on, right? Now there's somebody is almost like completely past them, and you're in the middle of them. You still have to stop, right?
No, I don't think so.
Well, if you're in the middle, I think you keep going.
I don't think
But listen, there was a time in my life they called me Ticket Man, so don't go using me. I don't want to be the
piano man, the ticket man.
Yes, there's the piano man and there's the ticket man.
Write us a note, you're the ticket man.
And trust me, I did a lot of singing a song.
Yeah.
Each time trying to get out of that ticket, but the singing just didn't work. Wayne, I would say that if you're all it's like, although I will tell you, I was underneath the light when you could just see it. I was already going, and it changed to yellow. So what am I going to do? Am I going to stop in the middle of the intersection, or do I keep going? And I kept going, and I got a ticket for running a red light.
Yeah, I did the same thing in Vernon one time, and they said, didn't you see the flashing yellow about, like a half a block before? And that was flashing yellow to tell you to slow down, to stop at that yellow light. I said, so it was yellow, it wasn't red. He goes, but you went through it. I said, yeah. And guess what? I got a ticket.
Yeah. I did too. So you can't argue those things. That was back in my early. It was funny. I got that. I remembered that day. I got a ticket in Herkimer that day, and then got another. We were on our way to Sylvan Beach. I got a ticket on 31 going into Sylvan Beach. I got 2 tickets the same day. My excuse to the officer was, yes, but I just got a ticket in Herkimer.
Yeah, so you shouldn't. You can't get 2.
His answer.
I think you would have learned.
His answer was, today's your lucky day. So yeah, I can't remember how that.
I've never gotten 2 tickets in one day.
Yeah, that's the only time it's ever happened to me. So,
have you ever gotten 3 in one day, Bill?
I've never gotten 3. No.
Okay,
well,
so you got a record.
Tomorrow's another day.
I'm gonna work on it. I'm gonna get working.
You got a record. You got a record to try and break.
All right, Wayne. You have a wonderful day, man. Thank you.
Later, guys.
Okay. A couple quickies here. During Sarah's Flooring Outlet's inventory reduction sale, it's out with the old, in with the new, with savings up to 70%. You won't find savings like this anywhere else on the area's largest inventory. Get brand new flooring for up to 70% off during Sarah's inventory reduction sale. It's going on right now. Select in-stock rolls of carpet, 20% off. Easy to care for in-stock vinyl remnants, 30% off. In-stock hardwood, which they have some of the most beautiful hardwood floors you'll find, 50% off. Plus, get an unbelievable 70% off carpet remnants. They have to make room now during Sarah's inventory reduction sale. Some flooring is being sold below cost. The inventory reduction sale in Sarah's is their biggest of the year, and you can see why more people buy from the big store. In Sarah's Flooring Outlet, Route 49 Plaza, River Road, Marcy, and in sarahsflooringoutlet.com.
Brought to you by Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair, located in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer, and online at tallmanstire.com.
Whistle and the world will be.
They've been a driving force in roots music for nearly 3 decades, and they're coming to the Stanley Theater in Utica. Yonder Mountain String Band takes the stage on Thursday, February 5th at 8 p.m. They're kicking off a new chapter with their new album, Nowhere Next, the follow-up to their Grammy-nominated Get Yourself Outside, featuring Utica area native Nick Piccinini. Yonder Mountain String Band at the Stanley Theater, February 5th at 8 p.m. For tickets, go to thestanley.org, Ticketmaster.com, or call 315-724-4000.
Brought to you by Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair, located in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer, and online at tallmanstire.com.
I've always wanted to learn French, but the app I tried didn't help.
If you want to memorize words in another language, there's an app for that. But if you want to really learn another language, there's Babbel. Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different. Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Babbel feels like it was created intentionally by people who really know what you need to learn another language. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Want to really learn another language? Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com to save up to 50%. Babbel.com.
Hi, it's Jill Hayes from New York Sash. It's a new year, and while everyone else is busy making resolutions they might not keep, I have a better idea. How about a resolution that actually adds value to your home and makes your daily routine a whole lot easier? I'm talking about finally upgrading that outdated bathroom. You know, the one with the pink tub, the stained grout, the leaky shower. Now is the perfect time to make a change because at New York Sash, we're celebrating our New Year bath sale. Right now, you can take advantage of 26% off your entire bathroom project. Plus, we have financing available for those who qualify so you can buy now and pay later. But just like most New Year's resolutions, these savings won't last forever. So get 26% off your bath project during the New Year bath sale. Stop in our showroom at 349 Oriskany Boulevard in Whitesboro to see our bath styles and options for yourself.
Is your business the best at what you do? Then you should be a Central New York's Industry Ace. Our Industry Aces are made up of the best businesses in the region, and we'll help you tell your story to thousands of consumers in the Mohawk Valley. With a combination of on-air and online testimonial commercials, along with targeted social media ads that are guaranteed to reach the consumers you want to be talking to. And best of all, these messages are coming directly from you. Interested in learning more? Contact Megan Powers at 315-768-9500.
What's going on, Rome, New York? It's your main man, Jimmy Fallon from Fox Across America and Fox News Saturday Night. And listen up, folks, I am headed your way. February 7th, we're at the Rome Capitol Theater. You got a chance to get tickets to see me do what I do best, which is drink in the green room. But afterwards, I'll be on stage doing live comedy, a Q&A, a meet and greet. We're signing books. We're signing boobs. We're signing butts. You bring it. I got the Sharpie. We're doing a dang thing. Saturday night, February 7th, the Rome Capitol Theater. I will see you there.
Celebrating 100 years.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
Sorry, Jeff. Somebody just let me know you're still on the news camera. So, you're off now. You're off now. Good. I hope everything was.
I was reading and scanning and scrolling for information.
Here's Jack with a quick question. Hello, Jack. Good morning.
Yes. No, this isn't a quick question. It's a quick answer. And good morning to Jeff also. Welcome back.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Best issue to keep yourself out of getting a ticket going through a bus stop. If you see the bus driver's yellows on, stop anyhow.
He's
Let
correct.
The driver
I agree. Yes.
wave you on.
Yeah, if it
Better
is.
off you do that than going through a red light.
Yeah, I did go through a yellow the other day.
Now your question,
You're talking
I
about
think,
a
is
street light or a
you're
bus
going
light?
past
So it was
the bus, and then
it was a school bus, and I saw the yellow light start flashing, and it looked like he was still moving pretty good. So I made the call. I'm going to keep driving. I don't know, county executive. Did I blow that?
Well,
Did
I
you
mean,
get-
you know,
did you get caught in
advice that
between
Jack
the
says
two
is-
red lights on the side?
No. He hadn't stopped.
Oh,
Well, if he was rolling, did he wave you on, or did he?
He did give me the finger.
He couldn't see. He gunned it.
It's absolutely happened to me the other day.
I
and I was on
you're gonna
Clinton
You're
Road.
going to take the driver off behind you anyhow.
Yeah,
So,
right.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'd rather take the driver off than
I
me
agree.
go through a bus.
Well, listen, what we're talking about here is
It's $250, by the way.
But what we're really
I'm a
talking
retired bus driver, so I'm just helping you out.
But what we're really talking about is a killing a child, right? I mean,
Yeah,
that's
multiple-
what we're,
or multiple children,
or multiple children. So,
or
So
or
you're-
the other
you're
driver,
alleviating
the other
that.
side. I mean,
yeah, you're
everything.
absolutely right, Jack. Thank you.
Well, geez, thanks.
All right.
So
and believe me, there are people out there saying, "Well, I can't believe he said that. He never says anybody's right." Well, I just did. Mark it down. You're right. Thank you, Jack.
When in fear, stop.
When in fear, when in question, stop.
I have a confession to
thank
make.
you.
I think I alluded to this once before, and I challenged it, but I was ticketed for passing a school bus.
You were?
Yes, I know. It sounds horrific, and certainly not happy about it, but I challenged it. We went through the process, and I was still found, I think, liable. But the issue was we were on Seneca
When did this
Turn-
happen, by the way?
maybe a year and a half ago.
Oh, and we didn't
the
talk
cameras?
about it?
Yeah.
With the camera?
With the cameras, yep.
Oh, you
So,
got nailed with that.
It was
it the camera, or did you get a ticket? Police ticket?
Oh no, it was a camera that saw me. I got a
So you got
a
the thing in the mail.
notification in the mail, and I challenged it because as it happened, I went, "Oh my God, I think I just went by a bus." It was on Seneca Turnpike, which is a 4-lane. So I was in the furthest right-hand lane. So then you have a lane of traffic to my left, another lane of traffic, and then in the third lane of traffic from me.
Still got to stop.
You still have to stop. Absolutely, yes. And
What about, didn't we go over Route 12 where there's a median?
we did, and I don't remember
That
the
I
answer.
think you can still keep
Median
going.
you can go.
Yeah. On a
Yes.
highway.
On a highway.
All right.
So yes, you still have to stop for that. But it was interesting because actually Scott McNamara, the former DA, is now the one who prosecutes these cases.
Yes.
And he and I spoke beforehand, and he did kind of acknowledge it was a little bit of a unique situation, but thought, to be honest, as we discussed it, he goes, I don't know. We'll see what the judge says, but I don't think.
Yeah.
So anyway, there was a vehicle larger than mine in front of me and on to the left. So my view was a little obstructed from seeing the bus in the arms. Okay, so when we watched it back on the video, to be honest with you, it was much less significant than I remembered. But I did say to him and the judge is, as we were passing, if there was a zoom-in camera on my face, you would have seen me going, oh, blank, because I realized there was 9 vehicles that went through in this particular.
Oh, boy.
That's right. So I'm driving. I'm paying attention to the road. I've got cars to my left. I've got a truck with a box. It wasn't. I thought it was like a U-Haul truck, but it was more like a painting truck.
Were you driving the official vehicle?
I was driving my vehicle.
Okay.
My own personal vehicle. So I felt like there was a little obstruction because if I saw it, I would have stopped.
Yeah.
But we're all going, and it's 9 cars, and 9 cars in a truck, and all went through it. So I'm just saying it can happen. It's
so it
not
cost
as
you the $250.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
and matter of
Wow.
fact, because I want to say because I delayed, but because I challenged, I ended up paying $275 for some reason. I don't. There
Probably
was
a
some type
court
of a fee. I
Yeah,
don't know what it
yeah.
was, but
I once tried to challenge a ticket in Gloversville, and I 22 years old, thinking that I'd gone through law school, and I don't know if you know, but I hadn't. I did not have due process.
oh, we know. We are aware you
Thank
never
you.
went to law school.
I did not have due process. I never received the ticket. So, it was like a parking ticket, but it was like $80 parking ticket. And
got a break.
Back in those days, $80 was like $500 today. By the way,
yeah,
But you got a break.
Yeah, well, somebody took the ticket off. I never received the ticket, so I went into the court, and the judge said, you're absent of due process," and I said, "Yeah, I never received the ticket," And then this court stenographer was like, says everybody. Okay. So he said, you really want, the judge said, do you really want to come back all the way into Johnstown from Herkimer, wherever I was at the time, and bring us all back to have a trial over your ticket? And I said, yes, I didn't receive the ticket. And the groans in that courtroom, the rolling of the eyes. And as I'm walking out, I can hear them like, this idiot. I turned back around and said, Judge, could I change my mind? And I paid the freaking ticket and
You know, a lot of people do it different. I received a ticket downstate for speeding, and I forget the county, but it was in
some places will charge you right on the highway.
They'll charge you right on the highway. I challenged it. It was in the Rhinebeck, Poughkeepsie area, and I went down there, and their county has a different policy. It's different than here. I went in. The state trooper who gave me the ticket did not show up, and the judge said, in the interest of your rights, to protect your rights as a citizen, I'm dismissing the charges because the cop no-showed.
Yeah, that's the law, right? Yeah.
A lot of times they just reschedule. You're good. You're good.
Yep. In studio is County Executive Anthony Piceni, who clearly is bored with this conversation. And,
can't blame him. Can't blame him.
So I do want to ask you, obviously you heard Ryan Nobles on yesterday, and you've heard Joe Lodes complain. And so I wrote a story that's on our website, and it talks about voter ID. And Republicans get blamed for voter ID because it's currently where we are today with Trump in office. But the reality is voter ID and voter suppression really began after the Civil War. It's Democrats, not Republicans. Because the black men at the time were beginning to vote, and the idea was there's corruption. It can't be real. This isn't real. Right. And so, is there corruption?
But remember, those were paper ballots too.
It was a completely different world.
Completely different.
Yes.
Yes.
And by the way, and if you look through history, there really was corruption back then.
Oh yeah.
Which is why a lot of the changes have been made to the system that we have today.
So many states, even in the 40s and 50s and into the 60s, were still using paper ballots.
Yep. And there are, I think Joe Lode's comment was, whatever happened to the day when we used the old paper ballots?
But you're using a paper ballot now.
You are, just because through the system.
Inserting it into the...
Do we have a problem with voter fraud?
No, I don't believe we do. I mean, there are few and far between incidents in which, perhaps, someone votes twice, whether it's, Tim and I were talking off air about absentees and you vote again, or somebody else, something happens on an affidavit that you're not supposed to be in the district you were voting in, and then you go to that one, so, quirks like that happen, but those are not fraud. Those are errors, and those are other things. To say that there's fraud, I mean, in the system, and I've been in this system my entire career. I mean, my question is how? How do you manipulate this system? How do you manipulate it when? And I'll go back to the old machines with the levers, in which, those levers recorded everything. You pulled out the sheet at the end, and it had the columns and the numbers of people that voted, and you went across and read.
Yeah.
From 1A to 1B, C, D, E, across that. So, the question is, tell me how it's being done, because there is, are some slipping through the cracks? Probably. Millions,
but not millions.
Hundreds, thousands.
And it's not enough where it would have changed the 2020
No,
election.
I really, and I know I have friends and everybody talk about it. I don't see that. It's a miraculous feat to pull off if you can do it.
This is said in jest. This would be a parody bit where the guy who's won, 6, 8 elections? The guy's you. Me? You're 6-0 in elections, 5-0 in elections. He comes out and he says, elections are rigged. It's fraud.
Says the guy.
They're all rigged.
Yeah,
He's never lost one.
Says the guy who's never lost an election. Mike Johnson yesterday, though, said, well, we're looking at these races and these Democrats who have never won in these districts. All of a sudden, they're coming out and beating Republicans. It's fishy. Well, look at the state of America right now.
It's not.
That's where it's things like what is going on now that inspires people to get out and vote.
Like elections are lost from a variety of reasons and individuals. And look at the one that came to everyone's surprise was the whole AOC thing in New York City. Remember, they had the guy was leader of the conference as the congressman. He took it for granted. He got beat, and all of a sudden it was.
I think the biggest the biggest way to show elections are now rigged is when Donald Trump beat Hillary Clinton. I mean, no one thought that could happen. And you have this Democratic machine. There's just in half the Republicans were like, plugging their nose to Donald Trump, and he won. Legitimately. Sure. He won. And I just thought that could never happen because of the Democratic machine. But we know that's it's the power of the people more so than anything else.
The difference on the presidential side, because there are different scenarios, obviously.
Every state.
But the presidential is all about the electoral college. So you focus I focus on those states that I need, those big electors and you write off of one immediately New York because it's going to go this way.
Right.
California is going to go that way, but then you got to fight for Ohio and the Midwest, the different states in Florida and what's Georgia going to do and where's Texas going this round. So
the Karl Rove
it's a whole different different scenario.
And the other part of this is this was vetted in court, investigated, and most cases these were Republican districts that were coming out and saying we've investigated and it's not there.
They went into that 20 election saying there was going to be fraud. I mean, so what did you do about it? And I think Ryan said that the other day.
Yeah, which is where we are now.
Sure.
This is laying the groundwork for.
I do not agree
midterms.
that the federal government should take over elections. I mean, we are losing. And this is an issue on the state. If we're going to talk about state stuff in a minute or whenever. Yeah. But I mean, we are continuing to lose our ability to govern. Not only more and more from the state of New York every day, and then to have this on the federal side. That's not what the Constitution.
Right.
All of these people talk about the Constitution when they don't think it benefits them, and then they go back the other way. We have to look at the structure of government of what it was designed to do, and where the states have that authority, and then where the locals have it.
You need a strong local voting system, because at the end of the day, that's the tippy end of the spear for most people and how they live their lives. Really,
but that's where
it's are the streets getting plowed? It's all that really blocking and tackling.
Well, just take Oneida County for a minute. In terms of the number of districts, 192 voting districts. Okay, so where do you go with that in terms of where's the fraud start? Where's it go? How does it?
Well, really,
now multiply that again.
Yeah.
By 62 counties
in New York.
That have twice that amount of districts in them, like Onondaga, 400 and I don't know, forgot what they have, 455 or 425 in terms of their districts.
And the argument that and it isn't even an argument, it's just saying, look at this logically. The reason why voter ID, there are so many checks in place. You're already getting basically ID'd when you register to vote. Sure. If you move, you must re-register. There are people there on the ground trying to call balls and strikes as you're voting, and then afterwards, both sides get to come in and with a fine-tooth comb go over every election if they choose to. Exactly. But why do we want to impose a new law for a problem that doesn't exist, when the law would only make it more difficult for people, not like us, who could whip out an ID easily, but there are plenty of elderly, women in some cases, major cities where people don't drive ever, they don't, and yet they work every day and they have good jobs. It's not just people on welfare. There are a lot of people out there that this would just be one more obstacle when it comes to voting. That's my take on it based on the history of the whole thing. Can we talk about Chobani?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Tim made a very interesting statement off the air, on the air. I'm not sure which earlier about if you want to
Julian or Reed?
Well,
Tim Reed.
Well, I will carry. I will carry Tony's water, or this case is yogurt. I just have found it incredibly refreshing that Chobani's listening to the neighbors, listening to the communities, and doing everything right that you would want for a business to do. I mean, they don't have to do that, but they willingly do that, and I think that is just remarkable, and it's great.
They do. No, they do.
There's also
and they have from day one.
Yeah.
That's in their DNA. That's in their structure.
It's also interesting where there are no Chobani's downtown signs anywhere. I mean, there's no major protest happening, and I think generally we're all pretty excited about what is about to happen, and their incredible ability to make it happen quickly. And how often do you see a project that starts out here, and all of a sudden, by the time they even get started, it's grown?
It has, and it continues to, and then that's that's part of their, their belief and scope that they can do more here, and that there is their vision, and we talked about it on day one, to build a campus of and really have this. This place be like the symbol of Chobani, across the country and the nation, really. So, it's a lot is happening. I mean, and then we wanted to talk about that because, it's winter time. It's been tough, but progress is ongoing. The utilities are being put in and have been. The digging that is necessary for that. The trees are being cleared and, getting ready to literally go into that site soon and start putting steel in. I mean, we're months away, but we're there.
It was the Rome Planning Board, I think, approved. Yes. Was it the second or third time they've changed?
It's about the third or fourth time.
Yeah. Because it keeps getting bigger, right?
It does. And, well, the bigger and variations of, as they continue to design, the facilities and what's going to do what in terms of the plant and how they're going to fit and where the other environmental pieces have to be as a part of it as well. To Tim's point of addressing concerns about any other discharge or anything that comes as a result of it. So it's really a combination of all that. And I expect I just expect that there'll be more changes in the future once they begin the build out. Mm-hmm. And things, because it always happens when you're building that something looks different. So.
Can I switch to the runway sportsplex?
Sure.
One more, Darlene Sequoia. Good morning. If you watch Landman, I'm not familiar. The daughter is always in the show eating Chobani yogurt.
Really?
Yeah, really? I'm not familiar with the show.
I'm not either.
Gotta love product placement.
Great show.
The runway.
The runway.
Sure.
You put out an RFP.
We put out a request for expression of interest, which is not an RFP.
Okay.
So there's two different things there. I mean, it's really, looking at this, the scope that we put out is, here's what we have. In other words, here's what we have, and here's our vision for what we would like to see there. Tell us how you would, how you would do it, and what would you do with it, and what other pieces are we lacking, or where, where do things go? Where would you see the overall piece? It's not just about the recreation side. It's about the amenities that go with it. Whether it's a food court, whether it's other pieces.
Okay. Do you see this as like an odd authority that would run this, or private?
Yeah, I don't know. We haven't decided yet. We have the Oneida County Sports Facility Authority that just really runs Murnane Field.
Okay.
I mean, that's a separate authority. Years ago, just to go back to our friends in Albany at the time, years ago, I tried to combine the Sports Authority and the Aud Authority into one authority that could oversee all of this stuff. And I mean, and to Senator Griffo's credit, and at the time Assemblyman Brindisi, I mean, we fought like to get it done.
Yeah.
And they couldn't envision what we were trying. Well, we don't want to create any more authorities, and I'm like,
you're consolidating.
I'm collapsing two authorities into one. Couldn't get it done. So anyway, back to that.
Smoke began pouring out of the Albany area.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah.
But so back to that, whether it's the Sports Facility Authority that oversees it, but again, looking for an operator. We're not going to operate it. I mean,
okay.
And again, it would have some
and does
type
this
of
compete with? Would it compete with Nexus?
No, because
So
it won't have ice. I mean, it may. I mean, on the soccer side of things or whatever. I mean, depending on what we're doing, I think we're looking more. We're looking at some of the other areas that people are interested in now. I mean, the pickleball piece I mentioned, basketball, which while you have these. You have all the schools. You don't have the capacity to do multiple games and those things at the same time. I mean, the concept is the same, and whether it's basketball, volleyball, pickleball, tennis, and whether there are, some baseball fields, you could do things inside.
If a flag football is growing, the NFL is really pushing it.
Sure.
And then the other is, if I recall going to the state basketball tournament, at times there would be like 3 games going on at once so that would open the door to events like that.
It would, and there's a couple pieces to it because it's such a large facility that when we first had a couple of the consultants come and take a look, especially one that we worked with on Murnane, to look at the inside of the hangar and what we could do there, and the hangar being with the high ceiling, so you could do a variety of things there,
including golf, right?
Including golf. I mean, possibly, and then, but then going into the core of the building, he looked and said, you could do basketball in here.
Yeah.
Because those ceilings were even high enough to do basketball. So you could really turf the hangar, piece itself for, whatever kind of turf. And again, whether it is tennis, whether it is, or the surfaces, whether it's that or whether it's baseball or, for practices or little league or something like that you can play indoors. I mean, and then do other stuff in the inside.
You know how hard people have to work that want to turn their kids into some sort of a professional baseball player, or the setups they create with outdoor facilities and heaters in their backyards, I mean, this would kind of open that door where we could play during the wintertime.
It's the Nexus concept of looking at, really looking at tournament play.
Yeah. Okay.
In which, there can be that scope of play on the weekends with teams coming,
all right,
whatever. So it's a little bit, it's not in competition directly with one arena or area. It's trying to look at this on the global. Would there be availability for individuals and for residents? Of course.
Yeah. Last week we were coming back from Buffalo, and somehow my wife was in a conversation with the clerk, and she said that we were from the Utica area, and the woman said, "That's so weird. I've had 3 people in here today, 2 or 3 people in here today that this is in Buffalo, that are on their way to Utica for some hockey tournament or something." It's pretty wild, right?
We had. I mean, the tournaments. Even this weekend when the home show was there, there was still
stuff
hockey
going
on.
Rick, whenever that school bus arm comes out, you stop. End of story. You have to consider the kids could be darting anywhere trying to get to the bus, so you just plain stop. That all makes sense. And then I want to bring this up here, and it is...
Did somebody say the opposite of that, though?
No, I'm just reading what I'm reading. 21, the high today. 27 tomorrow. It's going to be a real warm one. Tomorrow morning, it'll be about 6 degrees. Saturday morning, 13 below zero over the weekend, with a high Saturday of 5 and a high Sunday of 6. Nice. With that said, I'd love to talk about National Grid. Let me break, and we'll come right back and do that. Stand by. I'm going to tell you about the Good Feet store. If you're having pain, there is a potential solution. and it could be coming from the way you walk. Enter the Good Feet store. Free fitting and test walk. No appointment is needed. No obligation. And it's a 3-step system. And it literally, you're doing nothing but everyday activity. And it is strengthening your muscles, tendons, and ligaments, changing the way you walk. Ultimately, the goal, to remove the pain. No appointment is needed. The Good Feet store, 4630 Commercial Drive in New Hartford. And Ricky Z at Steve Pawnee Mazda. The New Year Mazda sales event is underway. Save on a new Mazda lease or enjoy 1.9% APR financing on new 2025 Mazda CX-5s, 0.9% on turbo models, 0.9% on new 2025 Mazda CX-50s, 1.9% on hybrids, and how about 2.9% on new 2025 Mazda CX-30s? See Rick, Wyatt, or anybody over there for details at Steve Pawnee Mazda. As Rick says, let's make your deal on a Mazda where it's always easy to do business. Steve Pawnee Mazda Commercial Drive in Yorkville. Speaking with County Executive Anthony Piceni, if you have any questions, 315-736-0186. We'll get into National Grid. Brace yourself. Your new bill will be coming real soon. We'll talk to the county executive about it on WIBX.
Utica and the Mohawk Valley Mattress Express's President's Day sale is on from upstate New York's largest specialty bedding retailer. No one else in New York State has all the brands under one roof that we do. And right now, save up to $1,350 on names like Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, Sealy, Purple, Puffy, the Smart Bed by Instant Comfort, Posh & Lavish, Therapeutic, Simmons Beauty Rest, Black Serta, iComfort, Avocado, and more. A full line of spa-grade massage chairs take up to 5 years to pay with no money down for qualified buyers and no credit check payment plans. In Rome, on Black River Boulevard in the Black River Plaza. In Oneida, in the Glenwood Plaza by the movie theaters. In New Hartford on Commercial Drive next to Pet Supplies Plus. Go to MattressExpressNY.com. Call 1-800-NEW-BEDS. Don't overpay for your next mattress. Come to upstate New York's largest specialty bedding retailer, Mattress Express.
Get a smile for every season at Rosansky Family Dentistry. For crowns to veneers, we'll keep you smiling all year long. We're also excited to welcome Dr. Kataria to our team. With her arrival, we now offer Friday appointments from 8 a.m. to noon, giving you more flexibility for the care you need. Call us today at 315-732-1981 to schedule your visit. That's Rosansky Family Dentistry, 1 Paris Road in New Hartford. Find us on Facebook or online at uticasmiles.com.
Tallman's Tire and Auto Service. Family owned and operated since 1980, Tallman's is proud to provide trusted, professional auto care to our community. From brake repairs and New York State inspections to check engine light diagnostic to four-wheel alignments, Tallman's Tire and Auto Service accept all aftermarket warranties, and they specialize in fleet vehicles, accepting all fleet maintenance programs. When your vehicle needs attention, you can count on them to get you back on the road quickly and safely. Save time and money. Schedule your appointment today at tallmanstire.com.
Hurt in a car? Call William Attar. 315-444-4444.
Brought to you by Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair. Located in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer. And online at tallmanstire.com.
Celebrating 100 years.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
River Hills Properties continues to invest in upstate New York, and you could reach out to an agent with River Hills and just find out what your home is worth. You might be incredibly surprised what it would be worth on today's market. River Hills Properties, it's all about service. From the book, 40 to 100 pages filled like the manual for the home. Never using the lockbox. Always, your listing agent is there every time the house is shown. Offices in Barneville, Little Falls, Copenhagen, and Utica, Newport, coming soon to Rome, and the amazing Gulf Coast of Florida, Sarasota, Naples, Marco Island. Remember, nobody sells homes, and nobody helps people buy homes like River Hills Properties. 315-896-1009 is the number. By the way, beautiful, warm Gulf Coast of Florida where it's, 35 degrees or something. Miami was at temperatures near freezing. I think it's coming. A warm up is coming, but it's been. I'm You see people collecting buckets of iguanas. It's really kind of
crazy.
It's pretty crazy. And they don't die. They're just
frozen.
Yeah, they're just frozen in place. In studio is County Executive Anthony Pacini. We've hit a bunch of stuff here this morning.
Tampa's at 54 right now.
50. All right, they're going to hit upper 60s today. Not bad, right? National Grid.
Yeah.
Sure.
I do have to say that there is a race coming up for Assembly and a primary, Gentile versus Fusco. And we did have both on this week. Dan Fusco, I was really surprised to hear, and I understand the Republican concept is we're entrepreneurs. Somebody making money is a wonderful thing. He did say, I'm sick and tired of hearing, I'm paraphrasing, I'm sick and tired of hearing everybody complain about National Grid making money. They're a business. Let them make money. It's a little different than that.
Well, they're not entrepreneurs. Let's clear that up right away. They're not in that realm. And, while I'm not, saying we throw rocks at them and whatever, I'm not saying we embrace them here or, say that they're the good guys. They're just trying to make money.
Right.
I mean, they are obviously, taking great advantage of a system that New York State has built into it. And at the same time, though, I mean, it would be helpful if they were helpful in trying to reduce these costs and trying to work with them instead of boosting their rates, because New York State allows them to. One of my arguments after the State of the State was when the governor talked about two things. She talked about utility rates or whatever in general, because it's not just grid. You got ConMed, you got the other, or not ConMed, that was bad.
Con Ed.
Sorry.
Con Ed.
Con Ed. Sorry about my friend. Sorry about my friends at Con Ed. And you got others and other. Yeah. I mean, so you got all these things, but the point is, we're gonna fix that. You have that control right now, Governor. The PSC that you established, that all of those people you appoint, you control. You can change. I mean, they're approving those rates. That's number one. She talked about insurance on the other end. Same thing. They approve those rates. But going back to it, when you look at your bill and people are going to get really shocked. They got shocked in January, as I did, and
February's
my family did, and others around. And looking at the enormous increases coming up, and actually at the Genesis breakfast the other day, the representative from National Grid spoke before we did all of our other things and said, I can't remember what the good news was, but I remember what the bad news was. Your rates are going up even more. I mean, it's like you really wanted to tell us
This is the
that.
first stage of increase.
This is, and while they talk about what the delivery charges is whatever everybody's looking at and as being exploding, but so when you look at that bill and 40% of it is probably the actual gas or electric itself. The rest are surcharges and delivery, which are part of New York State's control. And that money goes into what's called NYSERDA. Everybody's heard of NYSERDA, New York State. Tim is very familiar with them, and from his business work, Energy Research Development Authority, in which they're sitting on billions of dollars of taxpayer money that can go to relief these situations. Now, it's not going to bring the rates, not going to bring your bill down or put bring everybody down to that point.
Well, it'd be nice if it would stop going up.
But it would stop going. But, reconvene the PSC, change the rates, structure that you already put in place. The electrification that she's, embarked upon is what's driving a lot of this, which is, again, we're not ready for and certainly can't handle. Families can't afford to handle this, because it's driving those rates to that extent. And, restructure the overall, NYSERDA, money to get back into people's, put them right on the bills. Put them right where it should go.
This is a
That's
three-year
what should be done.
3-year increase, and you mentioned.
Can I interrupt?
Yeah.
Could we all give Davey a big round of applause here?
Why?
Because he's been spent the whole day moving commercials around for me. And Davey, I'm wondering if you could do it one more time. So we've had a rough day in that world.
3-year increase. Sure. This is the first start of it, so 35%. They said by the third year it'll be up 50%. So again, this is the light end of the increase.
And people are foregoing other things for this now. I mean, this is we have the HEAP program. Everybody says, well, call HEAP. Well, HEAP is a one-shot thing. That's the other thing. Governor, open it up, make it 2, make it 3 if you can. Yeah. Because there are families that just can't deal with this.
It's becoming a crisis. If you're on a budget, becoming a crisis. The fact that we've had so many just above zero or teens, single-digit temperatures, people are going to be crushed in February.
My bill doubled.
Wow,
doubled in 2 months.
You are scaring me when you say that.
Doubled in 2 months
because I cannot.
I mean, and again, it's. That's going to put some people. It's 2 of us. It's only my wife and I.
It's going to put some people at $700 to $1,000 in a month.
That's exactly what we're looking at.
Yeah,
and some people are going to make some probably dangerous health decisions, in regards to say, well, we've got to keep it down this low or whatever it is, and they're going to find them at room temperature the next day.
Well, and look with the temperatures, and especially what's going on, that's the other thing that you want to look at the governor and say, wake up here. I mean, and National Grid and say, this is not, we haven't had it's hard to say ordinary winter. Yeah, this is a crazy winter. I mean,
it is.
We've had.
Since November.
We've had 15 consecutive days right now of below zero, overnights. I mean, at some point.
That's incredible.
It's incredible. And as
it's going to be the coldest this weekend.
The weekend
the coldest
is
so far.
Going to be like emergency level cold.
Yeah.
I mean, so we really need, there needs to be, and again, and people will say, well, what are you doing about it? I don't know what I can do about it. What I can, because on our end, but, when you look at these increases and you look at those rates that can be controlled, that New York State has the ability through these surcharges that they collect, that go back and sit, NYSERDA grosses $1 billion a year on these things. I mean, they're sitting on billions right now.
Right.
That the state of New York, the governor, doesn't need legislation. She could just do this. She doesn't need to go to the
What do you? I'm out of time. Yep. Mr. Gentile, my guess is he's going to use that clip in his campaign. My guess. Tony, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the day.
WIBX Utica Road, W295 From the WB Tain Insurance Studio, your news talk leader since 1925. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now the latest from Fox News.
Still searching for Nancy Guthrie. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Everyone is looking for you, Mommy, everywhere.
And Today Show host Savannah Guthrie and her brother and sister urged her, if she sees their video posted on social media, to stay strong, telling whoever kidnapped her.
Our mom is a kind, faithful, loyal, fiercely loving woman.
As they made this plea,
we want to hear from you, and we are ready to listen. Please, reach out to us.
Their 84-year-old mother was taken from her home in Tucson, Arizona over the weekend. Fox's Alicia Cunha is there.
Law enforcement continues to say there is still no credible information to indicate that this was a targeted incident, and they have not yet given details on what led investigators to return to Nancy Guthrie's home late in the day on Wednesday. Federal and local authorities came back to the scene, which they had previously cleared, to cordon it off with police tape while they searched the property once again.
President Trump posted on Truth Social he spoke to Savannah Guthrie, and he's ordered all federal law enforcement to help. Now, he is speaking at the National Prayer Breakfast in Washington, and just moments ago wondered aloud again, tongue-in-cheek, if he'll go to heaven.
I really think I probably should make it. I mean, I'm not a perfect candidate, but I did a hell of a lot of good for perfect people. That's for sure.
Last night, in an NBC News interview, the president was asked,
should the supreme leader in Iran be worried right now?
I would say he should be very worried, yeah.
He's beefed up the U.S. military presence in the region and threatened Iran with strikes.
That's Fox's Jonathan Savage.
Tensions remain high as the US and Iran prepare for a meeting tomorrow, which the Iranian foreign minister says will be in Oman. Iran had lobbied for this location instead of Turkey. According to a senior administration official, the White House agreed to the venue change after appeals by Middle Eastern allies not to walk away.
America's listening to Fox News.
Living with everyday pain is like having a voice that always says, no, you can't do that. No, you better sit this one out. It's no way to live. So if pain is affecting you, see how Relief Factor can help get you back to life on your terms. One where you say yes a lot more. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor's unique formula of natural ingredients does not just mask pain, it helps reduce or eliminate it for good. Whether it's your back, neck, joints, or muscles, Relief Factor can help you, as it has for so many others. So call 1-800-4-RELIEF and give Relief Factor's 3-week quick start a try. It's only $19.95, less than $1 a day to get your life back. Just go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. And see how you can say yes to more of everything you want.
Whistle and the world will be. They've been a driving force in roots music for nearly 3 decades, and they're coming to the Stanley Theater in Utica. Yonder Mountain String Band takes the stage on Thursday, February 5th at 8 p.m. They're kicking off a new chapter with their new album, Nowhere Next, the follow-up to their Grammy-nominated Get Yourself Outside, featuring Utica area native Nick Piccinini. Yonder Mountain String Band at the Stanley Theater, February 5th at 8 p.m. For tickets, go to thestanley.org, Ticketmaster.com, or call 315-724-4000.
Embarrassed by ugly yellow toe fungus?
Living with toe fungus it's embarrassing. I was afraid to take my socks off. I hid my yellow and crumbly toes from everybody.
Introducing Crystal Flush. Crystal Flush is the only FDA-registered 2-in-1 home treatment that attacks your toe fungus from both the inside and out. Crystal Flush's new and different combination system knocks out toe fungus for good. Guaranteed.
Crystal Flush is different. After just a few weeks, my fungus was gone. 100% disappeared. Crystal Flush was the only thing that ever worked. So if you're skeptical because you tried a bunch of other stuff, Crystal Flush is different. This is a game changer.
Crystal Flush is now available without a prescription, but it is not available in stores. Get your risk-free supply today. Go to crystalflush.com.